Hmm. 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 Oh, there are two browsers. Oh, I have to turn this off. There's no guest. Maybe a Croat. Hmm. Oh, wow. Oh, Silent Hill F. Hmm. Very positive. Konami is back to making games. Very interesting to know. Mm. Hmm. Let's try this. Hmm. Mm-hmm. Hey. Oh, I'm gonna like my own thing. Mm. Oh, gotta pack. I'm live, right? I am. I think. Hmm. Oh. Blech. Ow. Oh, 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 oh. Hungry. Occupation is hell and not just a mistake. Hmm. Maybe a mistake. Maybe a mistake? Hello, 3 people that are here. Make yourselves known by writing something in the chat, by locking in. I'm trying to turn on a game, but I'm having trouble. I think. I thought, hey, I just play a game a little bit at the start of the stream. And then the game is not really turning on. But it's okay. It's gonna be great. Once it turns on. It's gonna be the best experience ever. We're gonna have so much fun together. I hope. Oh, it turned on. Yes. I continue. Please. Yes. 80 hours. Hello, Emily S. Oh my gosh, I'm so glad to see you. This is the last stream before Ukraine. I've got a bus in 7 hours or something. It's gonna be a bus ride. I still have to pack. Isn't that exciting, Emily S? I should... maybe... If you're here, maybe I should play Star Ocean. Instead of torturing you with trying to do the Endless Tower again. With the game not performing well. Just gonna get frustrated. Yeah, I'll do my best to be safe. Fido's gonna miss me again. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, that hiccup in music was not a good sign, okay? The game might not... The game might run suboptimally, just saying. Oh my god, that has never happened before. Oh my god. Whoops. I have a bad feeling about this. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Maybe I should just switch to Star Ocean. Play what you want. I want to play this, but as you can see, we're having some technical difficulties. Oh my god, the game is just a slideshow, isn't it? Okay, I'm gonna let it all load. No. It did freeze. Oh gosh. Oh. Pure virtual function being called while application was running. Okay. It's crashed. Okay, I guess no Expedition 33. It's just, I guess the computer has spoken for me. Okay, the computer has decided that I should play something else. The computer said, you know what? Try something else for now. This is not working for you. Try something else for now. Right, let's just try Star Ocean. I think Star Ocean is a far less demanding game. I think we'll be able to play this one without any hiccups. You can see it, right? Yeah, you can see it. Hello, Vladimir. Have we finished Valkyrie Profile? Of course not. Why, do you want me to play Valkyrie Profile? Write in the chat, Star Ocean versus Valkyrie Profile, because, you know. Both games are made by the same company, interestingly enough, so... It's funny that you brought up Valkyrie Profile because that's the same company. Okay, I guess we're gonna play Star Ocean, Valkyrie Profile then. I need the monetization on the last stream before. I do need the monetization on the last stream before Ukraine. What do you call me, dude? That's so mean. Hello, Greater Rain. Wow. And you even wrote dude with caps lock. Okay, dude. Or do they? Ouch, my back hurts. Still have to pack. Let's see if we have some nice React content with Valkyrie Profile. Because that's a setup for React. Alright, let's see. There is a setup for a React, so let's go to YouTube and let's see if I have anything to react. Extremely boring research stream. 320 viewers. What is he researching?
Since I was doing like that. Is this it? I think it was the US, maybe, or another UN body.
I must hurry. I don't want to get scolded by Mother again.
True. I don't want to get scolded by my mother again. Also, there's an AI in D&D. Crazy things have true. It's true. A review of Final Fantasy Tactics. Let's go. Okay. Let's watch it while we do...
So, welcome to my review for Final Fantasy Tactics,
Oh
the
my gosh.
Ivalice Chronicles. And this is available for PS4, PS5, Nintendo Switch, Switch 2, Xbox Series S and X, and on Windows.
Farewell.
We have to get this.
I let my guard down.
And before I get into it, I'll ask you guys, are you interested in this game? Did you play
I
the
am.
original game
I
all
have.
of those years ago? Did you play the PSP
Yes.
game? Are you looking forward to this brand new version of the game?
I
Let
am.
me know down below.
Your life ends here.
Bloody hell.
My efforts are rewarded.
Oh
Now,
my gosh.
I originally
So
picked up
much
my
dubbing.
copy right here in 1998, 27 years ago. And it was a big deal because Final Fantasy was getting a strategy game using a lot of job classes from the old Final Fantasy games. And at
Jobs,
the end of
not
the
the job
video, I will
classes.
share
Jobs.
my launch day story. It's just a stupid story I
Job
have from when
classes.
I originally picked up the game with my friend Rob, and I'll share that at the end. So that game came out, we all enjoyed it, it was an intense experience, and then there was another way to play it, and that was the PSP version right here called Final Fantasy Tactics, The War of the Lion. And
I
this version
remember.
had like CG cinemas, brand new characters, new jobs and missions, and also multiplayer battles.
Very well. It's time.
Oh my gosh,
And
dubbing
that
in the
brings
game.
us to 2025.
I don't know how to feel
for
about it, to
Final
be
Fantasy
honest.
Tactics, the Ivalice Chronicles. And it's an enhanced version of the original game from 1997/1998 in North America. It has updated graphics, full voice dialogue. You can pick your text and voice language, which is Japanese or English.
You there, wench! It is useless to resist.
Oh my god, this game is dubbing. Here's some content for my dude Lucy to be offended more often. Let's see. Hold on. Let's watch it after the review, okay?
You will surrender the princess. If not, well, I would hate to see anything happen to that pretty face of yours.
Wow.
So then you begin, and you can pick from an enhanced mode or from the classic mode. So the enhanced version is based from the 1997 version, but it has full voice dialogue, which is really fascinating. And it also has adjustments to certain dialogue.
Careful, Ramza. Remember, the well-aimed thrust pierces the mail.
I don't know what to
And
think
also,
about this
the
dubbing.
character profiles have animation in them.
Beowulfs know our way around the battlefield.
It also has higher res graphics and an updated user interface, and also improved control balance.
One step at a time.
I'm not sure if I'm a big fan of
There's
this
3
dubbing.
difficulty options. You can pick Squire, Knight, or Tactician. So it really works out if you're new to this series, new to this game, you've never played it before, and you casually want to go in. There's different difficulty settings to make it easier for you, or to make it harder for you. But yes, we have the classic mode there. And this is the 1997 version of the game, but it's using the translation from the War of the Lions. And it also adds an autosave feature. Now, the first thing that really hit me when I was playing the game is the brand new opening cinematic. Because I played the original game and I remember what that looked like. And I was like, at that time, when I played it in 98, I was like, oh my God, will graphics ever get any better than this? Where, yes, in 2025,
I did not think that.
it proves that graphics will get better than that. And they've done a
Okay.
good job holding the original, but enhancing it and making it look unbelievable now.
Come
It's
on,
like,
everybody
it's
thought that
really
the graphics
remarkable
would
what
get
they've done.
better.
I will do a side-by-side on this, the opening cinematic, so you can see some of the improvements that they've done. Now we get to the game itself, and the thing that shocked me was the voice acting. I want to say in the original Final Fantasy Tactics, there's a lot of reading, and it's very, very heavy. The story is very, very heavy, and it's very, very intense, where this was a really nice change of pace for me, hearing all of the dialogue.
Gafgarian, you forget yourself, sir. You are in the presence of the princess.
The voice acting is fantastic. It's unbelievable. It's really quality stuff.
Mayhap your ears fail you. I said that a squad is to be dispatched. You are not a man of Galleon.
And also, when the characters are talking, unlike the original game, their mouths move now. I know it's a little bit of
Wow.
animation thrown in, but I kind of appreciate that attention to detail where we're not changing the profile pictures, we're just adding a little bit more to it. And with the dialogue there as well, it really kind of blew me away.
Hurry up.
Okay,
And try making a little less noise.
I'll not take orders from you!
You've quite a mouth on you, princess.
that's not.
And one of the other things
Okay.
that's fascinating to the game
Blown
is
away.
the combat timeline on the left-hand side of the screen to see who is in order to go next.
I do
and
wanna
also,
get this,
just in
though.
general, the user interfaces has been given a brand new facelift and looks really good and just feels more modern. Where they haven't changed it enough where it feels like really weird and unusual. It really fits the game for this enhanced mode.
I have you now! If only I was stronger.
Okay,
Okay,
so
getting into
I
gameplay,
think the
there's a lot
dubbing
to
is
talk about
overdone.
in gameplay. Final Fantasy Tactics is a turn-based strategy role-playing game at heart. So battles take place on rotatable maps, and you can move your characters around on tiles. You can also rotate the map as well. And your characters can attack, they can defend, they can boost or heal other characters.
Some of this is overdone.
And you can move your characters around, and that works into the strategy of the game that you can have advantage or disadvantage over your enemies.
I see.
And you can
some
gain
of this.
experience points and level up, and that opens up a whole other realm of things that you can do in the game with different job classes. And let me say, there's a lot of different job classes in this game. There is tons of them.
Job.
So you can be a black mage, you can be a dragoon, you can be a ninja. And you have a full map here with different cities, encampments, and battle areas. And you can go and buy better weapons for all of your characters.
May I help with aught else?
Wow,
also
you
go
can
into
buy
taverns
stuff.
just to hear rumors about what's going on in the local area with the
Oh
war.
boy.
Will that be all?
Am I supposed to be impressed by
And
the
there's
game
also
having a
the
store?
Warriors Guild, and this is where you can recruit new allies to add to your army.
Let's be on our way.
And you can
Army.
also speed battles up, and there's also
Oh, that's a
an
good
auto
addition.
battle feature.
That's a good addition. Oh my god, thank god.
Now let's get into the story with no spoilers at all, because I gotta say, even 27 years ago, the story was heavy. And I remember many late nights like reading all of the lore of what was going on in this world with all of these different characters, and I was like, oh my god, this is a true epic story. So it takes place in the kingdom of Ivalice.
As opposed to a
and Ramza
false
gets caught
epic
up
story.
in the War of the Lions, as two different factions fight for control of the entire kingdom. There's a lot of double crosses in this game, there's a lot of intrigue, and there's a theme of the abuse of power throughout the game.
I'm a knight no longer. Just another sellsword.
Right then. To battle.
Deliver us, O Lord.
Now, as for the graphics, they've used a filter system on here, and it's a bit upscaled as well. I will talk about my opinions on that at the end. But one thing that I was very, very curious about the game was, what are they going to do with the music? What are they going to do with the music?
Nothing.
Because
Nothing.
I don't say this lightly as well. The music, and here is my box set that I bought all the way back then. My box set for Final Fantasy Tactics has got to be one of the greatest soundtracks of all time. I would even do something, you know how people say a top 10? I'd say top 5 soundtracks of all time. And I want to say that the soundtrack is fully there in this game. They haven't changed any of that. As soon as the game began and I heard the music, I'm like, I'm home again. And why fix what's, not broken? The soundtrack is so god tier that anybody who would try to do an arrangement of it or anything like that or up it would fail because it's top tier. It's almost like trying to redo the music for Star Wars. You just don't do that in the original Star Wars film. You just don't do that. John Williams' score is there and it's perfect.
No.
It can never be outdone.
Oh
The
my
same
God.
for Final Fantasy Tactics.
I'm worried.
And I love how they kept the original music there.
Is this the end?
I have an upcoming video coming out in the next month or so about,
Unlucky.
I know this is crazy, how the music of Final Fantasy Tactics changed my life. And it really changed my life one night in listening to one of the tracks. And I will talk about that very soon in the future. And that's how powerful the music is. So I'm going to get into my final thoughts and kind of sum up
Yes,
all of what I
please.
think about this game. The first
Get
thing
to
that I
it.
think is very interesting is I was watching one of the interviews by one of the creators of the game, and he said that they had lost all of the original source code for the game.
Hello, Fake
Obviously,
Alec Parker.
1997-98 was a very, very different time for Squaresoft, later to become Square Enix. So all of the source code was overwritten over and over and over again back then. So what they did was they went back to the original game. They went back to Final Fantasy Tactics War of the
Thank you
Lion
for
on
the $10.
PSP, and they looked at the source code there.
I am a
and
booger.
They also went to fan
Maybe.
websites to see what people had
Thank
held
you.
up over
This
the
will
years.
help me in
and So
Ukraine.
what they did was they created the best version of the game they could from all of those
Thank you.
original sources and the best sources that they could get. Now, Final Fantasy Tactics was a big deal back in 1997-98 when it was brought out over here. It was a big deal in 2007 when it brought over the War of the Lion. And it's wonderful, and I'm going to say this, it's wonderful that they've gone back to all of those source codes and everything to try to do the best game they can do for the fans. And I think overall they've succeeded. I think there'll be a lot of people talking about different translation things and how they prefer this to that. These will be topics of conversation throughout the community for a long time, as is with any epic game of this caliber. And this game is almost like a religion into itself with its lore.
Jesus.
And people really love it.
This
That's
game
what I
is
gotta
a
say.
religion.
People really love Final Fantasy Tactics. They don't kind of like it. They're usually all in on the conversation.
I can get even stronger.
And I could do a 2-hour review on all of the different systems and all of the different ways to play this game. But that's for the game to teach you when you play it. Do I think the game holds up incredibly well? Yes, I do think it's still a game from the time period.
It's still a game.
I gotta say, when I first saw those graphics
Wow.
back in 97, 98, I was
It's
like,
still a game.
I can't believe what they've done. Do they hold up to this day? Where I think they're a little bit dated, for sure, there is that, but it's classic for me. It's so nostalgic. I mean, sometimes when you're rotating the map around, you have some of the frustrations that we had back then going, hey, wait, I can't see that character. Where's my character? But that's also
I've never
part of
had
the
that.
experience.
Actually, I've never had that happen to me. Ever.
But the voice acting in this is what I didn't expect. The voice acting took it to another level. And I want to say, and I don't normally say this, I applaud everybody who did voices in this game. You've done an incredible job. There was no kind of like phoned in voice acting going on here. Every voice in this game, I was sitting there going, wow, they really nailed that. And it really adds to the experience. And I think it is the enhanced version because it does enhance the game and it makes it better.
This fleeting life, cling to it not. Embrace inevitable end. Judgment Blade!
It feels a bit too crazy, this
Now the new
review.
graphical
I
style
don't
may be a
trust
mixed
it.
bag for some. I was playing the original game, and sometimes it looks more anime and like kind of crispy looking, where the new version has this kind of like filter on it. And sometimes I didn't know really what to make of the filter, but I kind of went with it and I kind of accepted it. And after a while just playing the game, I just kind of went with the game.
I am glad.
And I was just kind of in the combat, having fun there. And I think it'll be a bit of a topic of conversation for a lot of people. Some people may really like it. Some people may really dislike it. But one thing I hope we could all agree on is that this soundtrack is God tier. It is God tier. And it was one of those things that when I got the original Final Fantasy Tactics, I didn't expect a soundtrack that would be so phenomenal. That I'd be in combat and the soundtrack would be above the clouds and, you know, it was almost ethereal and beyond all of us. It's that epic of a soundtrack. And I'm glad they did not fix what was not broken. But the one thing that I am thankful for this game is for a lot of people who don't have these versions of the games right here, there's not been a really great way to play it. And this is a really great way to play it and experience it. You can go back and experience the old version, which I really appreciate, and the new enhanced version. And I'm glad that a whole brand new audience will get to experience Final Fantasy Tactics. Yes, it was amazing that Final Fantasy back then, the role-playing game, got a strategy game. And it really lived up to its name and became its own thing and kind of shocked everybody in how epic it really was. And I definitely want to thank Square Enix for the review code for the game. It's been a pleasure for me. I even brought out this standee. I bought this in Pasadena at a convention.
This
about
feels
4
like
months
such
ago.
a
This is not an original,
such an ass-kissing
but some guy
review.
was making
I don't
signs,
know.
And I
It
saw
does not
this,
feel very
and I was
balanced.
like,
I'm not gonna lie.
I love this.
It feels
I
like
love
an
this.
ad read,
I really
this
do.
review.
I adore it. It's capturing that PS1 era so
Everything's
perfectly,
perfect
and it
about
just-
this
how it's all
game.
put together. It's
Really?
beautiful. I really appreciate it.
By the way,
and I
company,
just
thanks
really
for
appreciate
sending me the
artwork
code.
on here and the look and giving it the old school design with the PS1
I'm
logo
such
on
a
there.
cynical person.
I love this standee, I gotta say. And I've been waiting to do this review so I can bring it out because I bought it just because I loved the artwork on it.
I'm
And
such a
let's go
cynic,
back
I
now,
swear.
to a small story from 1998 when I got my copy of Final Fantasy Tactics. It was amazing because I couldn't get downtown. Rob had a job downtown. and he was going to an EB Games there, and I gave him my money. I think it was like $100, and I said, "Here, just give me the change later," type of thing. And I'll never forget. It's one of those weird memories, like 27 years later, where we met at a Burger King where we could both meet each other, and I sat down and I'm like, "Do you have it? Do you have it?" And he had a paper bag, and he just slid the paper bag across the table to me, and I opened it up and I held it in my hands, and I was so filled with emotion. I was just like, it's finally out. I remember saying that. I'm like, I finally have it. I can't believe it. I can't believe it. And it was always a funny story to me. It was like some drug deal, like two shady guys, one guy, collecting some money off somebody and sliding a game across the table. And that's why when I saw that they were bringing this game back, I'll just show my reaction right here. I was just floored that they were bringing it back. I felt real emotion when they showed it, and I'm like,
as opposed to fake emotion.
Back. And we all knew it was a rumor, and it was so great to get it back after all of these years. And I think overall it really lives up to it. I'll ask you guys, are you looking forward to Final Fantasy Tactics?
This is Destiny's favorite game, so I think you'll be playing this on stream.
Are you excited to get it? Are you apprehensive?
I bet you needed to know this. But this is Stephen Bonnell's second favorite game, apparently.
Down below. So anyways, guys, until next time.
Alright, let's see the link.
Dude, he looks, dude, that's, dude, oh, I temporarily, dude, when I was young, dude, oh, dude, kid, fuck you, dude, what a wreck, dude, you're crazy, dude, okay, dude, okay, I'll say it, dude, imagine, dude, I'm not gonna sit here, not gonna record it, dude, I'm not about him, dude, such trash, dude, it's just kind of trash, dude, I'm done.
Okay, the way this person pronounces the word dude triggers me, dude, I cannot go through this video, okay. The way the person pronounces the word, I cannot. I cannot do it.
I don't care. It doesn't matter if it's a grift. I don't know whether the motivation in his head is money or politics. I think they probably blend together. Like, for most people, even people that like quote unquote
Russian Media Monitor. My favorite channel. Hold on. Let's watch it together. Vladimir Solovyov is hurt by Trump's rhetoric. Oh no. Oh no. No way. Hurt by Trump's rhetoric. It's so hurtful. Jim Sterling insults gamers. Oh, it's my favorite people. Okay, let's go.
Oh, I remember this.
And of course there was that other response to the Sekiro mod. The one that became, well, memed overnight. One so arrogant it could only be read by an aristocrat. A literal aristocrat.
Oh.
Oh boy.
Sorry, folks. Here we go.
You cheated not only the game, but yourself. You didn't grow. You didn't improve. You took a shortcut and gained nothing.
True. This is an anti-Jim Sterling channel at this point. This is so weird. That is such a weird thing too.
You experienced a hollow victory. Nothing was risked.
Which is weird. If you were to isolate this quote as just text and present it to me, and I'm like, huh, yeah, I suppose so. If there's no risk involved.
What? What risk? This is so stupid. These people are just so sad. Such sad people.
and you didn't gain anything, there was no challenge you overcome, then
Oh,
it is
wow.
a hollow victory. Like, it
Where
isn't
is
even a
the
victory.
lie? So this is the
like
thing,
something
it's-
I'd hear Socrates saying.
It's totally.
And he's like, ooh.
It's tone policing, really, because the point is kind
Tone
of true. It's just
policing.
delivered in a way that's really kind of pretentious. Just kind of.
Just
Yes.
a little bit.
No, it's
a
just
little bit.
video
It's like-
games. I'm
it's
sorry to
mainly
be the
approach
bringer of
guy
the.
took, unfortunately, but like this is a real thing. If someone flew to the top of Everest in like a hyper safe, hyper technological thing, and then said, "I climbed Everest," don't you know? It's like, yeah, no, not really.
No, I feel like
Yeah, I'm sorry to tell you, but playing a video game is not like climbing Everest. Okay, just get over yourselves.
who did it without legs, and granted, his legs didn't
get over
retire,
yourself.
But still,
Yeah.
the guy who did it without legs, he could see, when he gets to the top of that mountain. I think
Absolutely,
his victory is a bit more meaningful than yours. Someone in chat said it. It's saying something in a funny
stupid.
voice doesn't make it false. That's true, but unfortunately,
Well, he's gonna-
I think a lot of people think that. Yeah.
He's gonna milk this for all it's worth, because it's like, look, let's all laugh at the guy saying that
Pot meat
difficulty
cattle,
matters.
you're
It's like,
milking it for all it's
you
worth.
took one of the memed ones. You're not really taking the argument here.
But he doesn't know what these people even want.
Well, yeah, he said that himself.
And nothing was gained. It's sad that you don't know the difference. Royston! I just roasted me a soy boy casual neckbeard! He doesn't know the value of hard work! Now feed me...
What do you say?
I wanted to end.
He's about to imply that the aristocrat is rich because he was given money, not because he earned.
An end to skits. No more skits in
Enough
videos,
skits.
please.
No, I'm pro nostalgia critic skits. That shit is
Mainly because they're fascinating. Like
that is fascinating.
Yeah.
I love those skits. I want to put them in a museum.
That's another
I wanna
tradition we've-
load it onto our Odyssey probe and send it into space.
We've almost got
For
a
aliens
tradition
to
now of
find.
covering Nostalgia Critic every 31st as well of Halloween, October. So maybe we'll cover them again soon enough.
dangling from your hand! Ah!
Dangling these nuts.
Nice.
Bear in mind,
There
this
we
was
go.
a mod for personal use, not a demand for an
Hey, that
easier
bear
mode
looks
to
like
be
he's
added
having
to
it.
the
He's
game.
just sitting there like, man, this is fascinating. Do go on.
Oh no.
The bear wasn't very convinced.
That
So easy.
that bear was watching that skit and was like, yep.
This is actually difficult.
The humans
really have when guts does not work.
These people think that the people using this mod are experienced.
What'd you
They
say,
think
sorry?
that they're making the game easier on themselves in a way that's making it less fun. I'm just like, this is so easy. People think that using this mod, by using it, you're ruining your own experience with the game.
Okay.
Right. Which
That's
is something I
my
think nobody wants
business.
to talk about because it only would have happened with your choice, and everyone is more so
No,
generally speaking
game over.
in favor of everyone making their own choices. But it's like, sure, but if someone says I don't want to eat this really well executed steak without my big
Yeah, execute your steak. It's called cooked. Okay, cooked steak. You don't execute steaks. Well executed steak. Jesus Christ. This well executed cow. What time is it? I'm gonna do some politics tonight. We have no choice. I don't think we have a choice in this. Wig TV. Oh. Right-wing censorship, a debate panel. Well, well, well. Okay, let's watch some of the...
Told us
So
they're
why-
going to
so
use
soy
the
pills
FCC
are going
to
insane.
get rid
What
of
happened
things
with
that they don't like.
what has been happening? What has been happening on the left for the last 10 years about Facebook, about Spotify, about trying to cancel
About
explicitly
YouTube
in the
is
Senate,
Spotify?
talking
Wait,
about,
wait,
about
wait,
YouTube,
you're
like all of that shit has been happening. No,
wait, you're
they're
equivocating
absolutely
things
related.
that aren't related.
No, I'm
you're
saying they're
absolutely
exactly
not.
related.
No, they're
Dude,
not.
Okay,
I'm
because
agreeing with you.
broadcast.
Jason, I'm agreeing with you.
I know
Jason, I'm agreeing with you. You're not even
please
hearing what
be
I'm saying.
accurate when you do it. When you go over the
Yeah,
when you
go
go
for it.
over the free airways, that is going to be
I
different.
know, that's what I'm saying.
Cable.
That's what I'm saying.
and
I agree.
internet.
That's absolutely right. That's absolutely
So-
right. It is considerably worse when it's being done in the case of Spotify, which Elizabeth Warren, among others, has been massively trying to pressure both Spotify and Facebook. In the case of the Biden administration during COVID, there was a
Facebook.
boatload of censorship of certain
Quibbles,
policy.
Trump was
All of
president,
this,
'cause you mentioned-
all
you
of
mentioned
this
the
was
COVID thing. I have to
pressure.
push back on this. First of all, this both happened
All
under
of this
both
was
administrations,
pressure.
both
Hold
Trump
on.
and Biden.
Sure,
Second of all, they were
sure,
cracking
and all
down
of
on
this was
COVID
pressure.
misinformation before there was any request from the Biden administration to take anything down. So this is just not borne out.
And
at
yet
all.
there was
and third
still
of all,
requests.
when this went
Do
to
you grant that
court,
those were
they
requests that
all got
happened?
released and did not finish these cases because they had to prove that there was substantial pressure or damage caused on them, which they could not. In fact, you look at the way that this was done.
Have
and
th-
Biden
ha-
was.
have there
well, You
been-
can say that this is pressure
Yeah.
for sure, but Biden was releasing things like, "Hey, we're pointing you to things that we believe is spreading misinformation and maybe."
Do you think it is
harmful, not,
reasonable
"You
to
need
say that the
take this down."
statements? Do you think it is reasonable to say that the statements that have been made very public by people like Elizabeth Warren against private companies are of the same form?
Actually, I would mod Skyrim with that aristocratic guy and play all the way through, obviously, as an Imperial. I wouldn't play that mod as a Nord, true.
But obviously massively different because they are not in the context of public waves as ABC is.
When you say of the same form, I would have to see these quotes specifically. So
I
I'm
don't
willing
know
to say yes, potentially. I have to read these,
Ah,
but it's
sure,
very different
yeah.
for, hey, did Elizabeth Warren write out on the plan before the election how they're going to use the FCC to crack down on speech they don't like? And then her president, let's say Joe Biden, in public announced to everyone, I think these people shouldn't have licenses to broadcast their opinions because they cover me very negatively, which is the most insane crackdown on free speech I've
Elizabeth
seen
Warren
in a
is
very
talking-
long time. If she did something like that, I might
ag-
agree.
You acknowledge that a public broadcasting license holds
Different.
more responsibility, is different than a private company. Like you are beholden to higher standards.
Yes.
Okay.
And,
Okay,
and,
so
if the
then
standards that we're going to
Kimmel-
revoke those are they're too negative about me, the president, regardless of whether or not I deserve that
Well,
negativity.
that's
is
not
fucking
what
insane.
Brendan. That's not what
Kimmel's
Brendan
on
Carr
one of the
said. With
three
Okay, well, that's
Kimmel
what the
said.
president is saying. So maybe you should worry about that a little more.
Wait,
Wow.
Kimmel's on one of the 3 networks that are of that form, right? In the entire country, there are only 3. Do we all grant that he is obviously of the left? Do we all grant that there is obviously no comparable person who is of the right on any of those 3 networks?
What are the other? What's the third?
It's CBS, NBC, and ABC.
Yeah.
And NBC. Okay. No, I would say there's not someone as big on the right there.
Okay. Okay, so do we grant that
How
there
do
is
you
an
even
obvious
define
slanting
the
that
left?
is governmentally paid for benefiting the left?
Sure.
No, because it's not an election season though.
It doesn't
No,
matter.
it benefits the left.
does-
If they
it's
want
still
to describe,
benefiting the
if they
left.
want to
Yeah.
say negative things about the president, sure.
I
But
mean,
like the
hold on,
idea
well,
that
okay,
this
well, you
just
said
isn't
benefit-
like-
No, but it's,
Hold on,
no,
hold
it's
on,
not-
hold on,
you
just a
are
question,
saying
Quibbles,
that
Quibbles.
This is not Fox, this is not CNN.
Quibbles, am
Fox
I
and
wrong?
CNN
But
are
don't
private
ABC,
companies.
NBC,
They can do whatever the
and
fuck they want.
CBS? Hold on, don't NBC, ABC, and CBS actually pay the government for their licenses? Like they're not getting
Yes, they
paid
pay
by
the government, but
They're
they pay
paying
the government,
yes.
yes.
They
But
also
they pay the
settle
government
lawsuits that are
substantially
totally
below
frivolous
market
just to
rate
make sure
and
they
have
get
had.
the
Wait,
license,
wait,
just to be clear.
I'm answering Wick's. I'm going to have to answer Wick's question. Yes, they do pay the government, but they pay the government substantially below market rate, and the substantially below market rate paying for the last 60, 70 years. I believe since 1969, something like that. It's been a really long time.
Yeah,
and
but
they
they're
have
not getting paid
changed
by the
their
government.
Yeah.
No, they're essentially being
No,
subsidized.
no,
through
but
those
they're essentially being
deductions.
subsidized by the government
Yeah, it's a
because they should be
subsidization.
spending,
Different
like,
thing.
if it was actually paid at market rate, they'd be paying many billions of dollars more than they're actually paying, and therefore they're getting, in essence, a subsidy of those billions of by the government. And if
you
those
think they
3
should- the
organizations
government
are
should take-
clearly of
if
the left,
they're too critical of them.
I'm sorry.
Should the government rightfully take that away if they're too critical of the government?
So it's actually not about being critical.
Yeah, I think
So
those
the-
3. Wait.
Can
Yes.
you say whatever you're about to
I
say,
think that-
Jason?
Hold on,
Wait,
hold
the
on,
president
hold on.
said it
Yes,
was. So
I think that
go ahead.
those
I don't care what the
3
president says because
organizations.
he doesn't run the FCC.
You don't care what the
stupid.
president says?
He is
Those
the president.
3
He does not run the
organizations-
FCC. The
Yes,
FCC
Brendan Carr reports to him. He fucking takes. Oh my
Brendan
god!
Carr
Brendan
reported
explicitly
to Biden
put
when
out,
Biden
I'm
was
going
That
to-
is such a clear conflict of that would be such a conflict of interest though, wouldn't it? Oh, we're subsidizing you, therefore we can shut you down at any moment. That is a what's the point of the media at that point? That's nonsensical. Of course they should be able to criticize the government without fear of their license being taken away. Why? That is so stupid. These people should study what a conflict of interest is.
Use Trump as president to do this as head of the FCC.
Yeah,
what
obviously,
are you talking about?
obviously, what the president says is relevant, of course, but obviously, so too, it is relevant and important that these are only 3 organizations, and those 3 organizations are clearly of the left and are clearly getting billions of dollars in subsidies, which is obviously massively unfair and obviously massively different than if we're talking about MSNBC or Newsmax.
Could you elaborate on unfair? What do you mean unfair? Like, for example,
it is unfair that one side of the...
Let me finish my question, because my understanding is if the president does a lot of crazy shit and they...
Hello, Folly Spar. Do you think there are limits on free speech? Yes, there are limits on free speech. There are definitely limits of free speech. I'm not a free speech absolutist. I think that words can, in fact, kill. Words can lead to death. If you... For example, if you have a lot of influence and with your words you direct a mob to do harm to others, then that should not be protected by free speech. Also, I don't think you should have a fascist club on campus at universities. So that's also a clear limit to free speech. Yeah, but that's still a limit on free speech. The fact that that's illegal, that's a limit on free speech. You have to understand that. That is a legal limit on free speech. You're saying that it's illegal does not change that. That it's still a limit to free speech. You mentioned fascist, but the term has been perverted and now just being used as a catch all slur. No, I mean an actual fascist club. A streamer called Destiny has made an argument that you should be able to have a literal fascist club. We're fascists, we're for fascism, and that you should be able to set up a booth on university campus that is called the Fascist Club, and they should be able to debate fascism with everybody around and try to persuade people for fascism. I do not think that should be a thing. I do not mean I mean literal, we are fascists and we want to debate fascism on campus. Would you also ban communism then? The Bolshevist kind that spawned the Soviet Union? Yes, I would. I'm Polish. I live in Poland. You think I'm a big fan of the Soviet Union? Yes, I would ban the Bolshevik edition of communism that spawned the Soviet Union. Absolutely. Hot take maybe, but you know. Nationality doesn't play a part in people's ideals. It can be misread anywhere. Yeah, but experiences do play a part in people's ideals, believe it or not. If you were a part of the Soviet bloc, if you were a part of the Soviet sphere, then you are going to have a totally different ideal or idea than somebody that has never experienced it. You just cannot deny that. Don't even try. Socialix says we can officially say South Park is Hamas now. True. A bunch of Hamas sympathizers.
they want to report on that accurately and portray it negatively as people who understand reality would, somehow now they should say, well, you're describing what I'm doing, I'm going to take away your license, because that's fucking insane to me. But
It depends.
tell
It
me
can't
more.
be overly
I'm sorry.
partisan. That's according to the
You're talking
FCC.
about partisanship.
partisan when you're just
Soy,
what is
it's
overly
fine that you're
partisan about
Soy,
like
wait,
illegally
that was a
detaining
question
people
to
and
me.
stuff like that.
That was a question to me. Soy, it is totally valid to
Oh,
be
no.
a partisan if you are a normal person.
Sorry, I'm just saying that if you're from Poland, then there is a high probability you will have a specific attitude towards the Soviet Union, towards Bolshevism, and all that these things entail. It's not a guarantee, of course, but I don't know these people from the panel. All right, let's.
Personally, are totally allowed to be a partisan. If you are on MSNBC, you can be as partisan as you want.
What is your view on socialism? Depends. Again, there are different types of socialism. You have Bolshevism, socialism, the one that spawned the Soviet Union, but you also have Polish socialism from the 19th century and pre-World War II Poland that opposed the Soviet Union. Polish socialists were very much against the Soviet Union. They were against the Vanguard Party, they were against Bolshevism. So it really depends on what you're asking. If you're asking me if I'm supporting socialism in the way that Polish socialism did it, then yeah. If you're asking me if I support socialism the way Lenin and Stalin saw it, then no. So my answer will depend. Socialix says, I have a feeling Orwell would have supported Polish kind of socialism, being opposed to state centralization and all that. Yeah, they were very much against that. They were against that, you know, they were against a vanguard party leading the way. They were against a system that is being enforced from above. They really believed in the parliamentary system and that you should have multiple parties. They believed in educating the working class so that they could advocate for their interest through the parliament. Folly Spar from Twitch says, blanket statement incoming. As a part of the LGBT community, this seems to be rather entangled with socialist ideas. Does that cause you any concerns? Can you rephrase the question? I'm not sure I understand what you're trying to ask me. If you could rephrase it, then I'll try to tackle the question. I'll do my best.
Rock on, be a partisan on Cartoon Network, right? But that's different than being a partisan on ABC. ABC cannot be partisan, and if there is a massive partisan slant, which clearly there is across all three networks, that's a problem.
Is there a rule that says they're not allowed to have opinions on politics?
Yes, there is a neutrality law. Yes.
No.
As I understand
the shows, not the corporation, the people on
Yes,
are not allowed.
As I understand it, you have to
I got to talk about this, Jason. To be clear, for decades and all this time, they've just been violating the law. Jimmy Kimmel saying anything that had anything to do with politics and didn't stand exactly on the center was a violation. The FCC should have revoked
the aggregate should be of the center. The aggregate of the three networks.
Hold on. What rule are you referring to, Quibble?
Yeah. How do you measure the aggregate of
neutrality?
of these
There's a neutrality law around these.
That's okay. Being a centrist is not even neutral. That's nonsense. Okay. It's not. That's not how politics work. That you have right, left, and then completely neutral center. That's not how that works at all. That is such a stupid thing to say. Do people really believe that you have the left wing, the right wing, and then the perfectly balanced center that is neutral? socialists, just that Orwell opposed rigid centralized regimes such as the Soviet Union, similarly to how Polish also opposed the Soviet Union. Yeah, because the Polish socialists saw the Soviet Union as the Russian imperialism and dressed up as socialism. Folly Spar says from Twitch, LGBT would be synonymous with the left, and in turn socialism seems to be a very large element of the left identity. Does that concern you at all? No. The LGBT aligns itself more with the left because the left is in general more tolerant towards the LGBT, so that makes sense to me. In general, the right sees the LGBT as quote unquote degenerate and should be deprived of any rights to speak of. So I think it makes perfect sense that the LGBT would align itself more with the left wing. Wouldn't you say? Oh, and as for socialism, again, that depends on what you're talking about. Because Polish socialism is very different from, well, the Bolshevik socialism. So yeah, in general, it does not concern me that the LGBT would align itself more with the left wing, considering that the left wing, generally speaking, advocates for the LGBT much more.
Can you link me?
This sounds
Believe
insane
this
to me.
because
I understand there's
I don't believe
value
that's
from the corporations,
true.
but the
It
idea
hasn't been
that you
true for
can't
years.
have
Fairness-
certain
it's the
shows, we
fairness
have to-
It's the fairness doctrine of the
When was the
Red Line
fairness doctrine
Broadcasting
repealed?
Company versus
Okay,
FCC.
when
of
was the fairness
1969.
doctrine repealed?
It wasn't repealed.
Yes,
wasn't.
was. It's no longer the rule.
I was gonna say, I think it's
It hasn't been for decades.
No, that's not true.
Hold on. When it comes to open airways, the fairness doctrine does apply.
Oh yeah,
When
in
it-
terms of
when
but
you're
those are the
talking
ones with
when you're talking
thousands
about
of-
cable and the internet,
Right,
no, it
democratic
doesn't.
socialist.
So there's different categories.
The fairness, yeah. So to clarify,
So bottom-up structure, yeah, I believe in the bottom-up structure as well. Folly Spar on Twitch says, agree, but would also agree with the comment regarding degeneracy. Doesn't appear to be much of a push to curb the extreme elements of the movement. Would also agree with the comment regarding degeneracy, quote unquote. Doesn't appear to be much of a push to curb the extreme elements of the movement. And of course, maybe a minority, but they get the attention and doesn't seem to be given much pushback from the larger LGBT community at large. Okay, but what do you define as extreme elements? Because that is also important to discuss, no? What would you even do? What do you mean when you say extreme elements?
yeah, yes, it is. It has been originally it was designed to be for all media, which made sense when there was only 3 media companies to talk about, only 3 airwaves. But now there are thousands of different radio places, and there's millions of different places on the internet. And so therefore, of course, you can say whatever the hell you want on your Twitch channel, obviously. That's different than the case of those specific. It was overturned in a broad sense, meaning that you can say whatever the hell you want on cable, but you cannot say whatever the hell you want on ABC. That's not true.
If the
you guys remember
taxpayer
the-
is subsidizing it, you've got to show a little bit.
Drag shows for kids, public fetish display, and pride explicit media in schools. Okay, what's wrong with drag shows for kids? I guess. What is so extreme about it? Let's start with that one. I don't think public fetish display is, yeah. I guess I'm not a big fan of that, but what is wrong with drag shows for kids? And what does explicit media in schools mean? You have to explain these things to me because they're not as obvious as you might think.
bit more fairness. I actually have
I'm
no
reading
problem with Jimmy
2011. I don't
Kimmel
know what you're talking
critiquing the president. Where the problem is that the other side is never.
Yeah,
is never
I don't see
actually
this
shown,
rule
and that's where
anywhere. We haven't had the fairness doctrine in a while. In
did,
fact, they've been trying to
yeah.
reinstate the fairness doctrine for years.
Since the 80s.
But they
Do we
haven't had
do we
this
at least
for-
remember the Equal
for
Times
decades.
Act violation that
That's what I was
that
talking
SNL
about.
was hit with when
Equal time-
Kamala was on?
That doesn't apply to this. This isn't an election
No, I'm
season.
just making sure that we're on the same page that exists, right?
Yeah, that exists. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, the View has violated that since its inception.
Yeah,
Right, and
there's
just
a
to
lot
be
of
clear, the
FCC
argument you guys are
violations that
making is
go
the fairness
non-
doctrine has been violated for the past 50 years by all these things who are always and have always been at least slightly left, if not more left. And
That's not
just
true.
now, all of a sudden, Trump realized and woke everyone up, and that's why he's bringing it. And not
okay,
what
well-
he's
Hold on, just real
explicitly
quick,
saying,
just real quick,
which is
just real
they're
quick.
being too negative to me, and I want to take away their licenses. So.
The FCC abolished the fairness doctrine in 1987.
87.
Did they?
Yes,
Yeah.
For which?
What you mean?
just in general. It's not
It was
applicable
actually
anymore.
4-0. Okay.
4-0,
Yeah, it was a 4-0 decision.
Mm-hmm.
Syracuse Peace Council decision. Okay.
Yeah, it's
What
gone, man.
what an
But
uneducated
I don't know why we're
panel.
talking about it all because even Donald Trump and the administration isn't citing this as the reason they're trying to take away these licenses. They're citing it because they're like, "Hey, they're being too mean to me." That is the reason. And if you're okay with that,
what Carr actually said is that under the deprecation of news or distortion of news, under distortion of news is what he was actually talking about, and he's like, we're going
News
to look
distortion,
into
to be
it.
clear, but yeah, go ahead.
There's actually no evidence that the FCC did anything. In fact, there is evidence showing that it was.
They're children, they don't need an erotic, sexualized version of a woman portrayed by a man. Drag shows are they're not inherently sexual. There's nothing inherently sexual about a man dressed up as a woman, so I'm not sure why you're talking about erotic, sexualized version of a woman portrayed by a man. Like, you do know that there are different types of drag shows, right? A drag show just means that a man is dressed up as a woman. There's no inherent sexual element to it. So I'm still not seeing what you're trying to say here. Yeah, drag shows for children are not pole dancers. So again, what are we talking about? As for explicit media and schools, books showing homosexual sex acts in libraries in Georgia, for a specific example. Are you saying that books showing heterosexual sex acts in libraries are okay? Are school books showing heterosexual? Well, there you go. Also, what is a sex act? If you depict two men kissing, is that a homosexual sex act? Oh shit, here we go. And I'm the one who's being constantly berated on transphobia. Lol, true Vladimir. Stop being such a transphobe, Vladimir. No, but showing explicit how to give a blowjob is. But depends on the age, isn't it? Sexual. I'm not against sex education. Are you against sex education? Because I guess we're touching upon this subject. Are you against sex ed as a subject? Yeah, age appropriate. So you could very well have textbooks depicting sexual acts at school libraries that are age appropriate. So again,
The
it's all
affiliate
context
stations
dependent.
and the advertisers that actually
The
got Kimmel
Rolling Stone article
knocked off.
explicitly cites sources that say that they felt pressure from the FCC. And
You
their
can feel
FCC
pressure all
directed
you
them.
want, but until the FCC actually imposes a fine or some type of censure, there's nothing you can really do about that.
Do
Pressure
you
exists.
understand the
Frickin-
conceptual?
I mean, yeah, in elementary school you wouldn't. Yeah, that is not needed. But that's the case also for heterosexual sex acts. So, yeah. But that's not really anything that is LGBT related. That's not LGBT specific. In that case,
chilling effect of, hey, I'm going to revoke your
Obama
license
put
if you don't do
15
what I
journalists
say.
in prison, bro.
For what?
You want to talk about chilling
For what?
effect? Because
What
he
did he
wouldn't
do?
play along with them.
What,
Jesus.
is that why he did it? So,
Well,
because I didn't hear about this. If I look this up, are you going to just be completely
Obama.
wrong? Because what's what we've got,
No.
we're 1 for 1 on that, and so I just want to make sure.
Had it. Let's see.
Everyone's Googling shit
jail.
because they didn't research this beforehand. Okay, so first of all,
Well, 'cause I didn't even think I was
what
gonna
a
bring that
panel
up.
of
Here, on the
Yeah,
news
I'll be
distortion.
honest, I did not expect this to be a
That's fine.
topic of contention.
What an
knew that
uneducated
I knew
panel.
this was the case. I did not expect anyone to be surprised by it being. But I will
Well,
find
the FCC rule that I think is being referred to by Confluence and Sparky. I'm not sure what you're referring to, Quibbles, but Confluence-
Obama used the Espionage Act to put a record number of reporters and sources in jail because they wouldn't give out their sources. Okay, this is
that's not the same.
How is that not the same?
That's not the
How is
same.
that not a
So
chilling
what
effect?
FCC
How is
did-
putting
what
putting
Carr did-
journalists in
what Carr
prison
did-
for protecting their sources, which is a
I
constant.
guess I'm gonna read this. Polispar on Twitch says, would disagree with the limited literature that is published by that community with intent to promote in a positive way has disproportionate amount of content of that nature. I mean, would you rather the LGBT community publish literature that would promote itself in a negative way? I'm not sure what you're asking here.
Constitutional protected right, for Christ's sakes.
Yeah, they shouldn't have done that, is what I'm saying. The people shouldn't
But
have been.
if you're saying that doesn't have a chilling effect on
wait,
speech,
I'm-
bro, I don't know what
it-
is.
I'd say arguably, if everything you're saying is true, which I highly doubt, and I'll read about it right now, then yeah, that would have a chilling effect. But that still does not deny the fact that, one, Obama's not president right now, and you can say, hey, I'm hypocritical for not having criticized him when I was 12. Sure,
Actually, no,
but
I'm not going to criticize
12.
you for that. I'm just
Well,
saying
you should if it was
this is
true.
not the first time. Okay, this is
I
the
didn't
first
say
time
anything about
that
this
a
as-
president has chilled speech.
Okay, I just
the fact
no,
that
hold
there
on.
was
I just
actually
want to
no
be
action
real clear.
taken
I just want to be
is
real
more
clear about the
important.
FCC rule
but the
because
whole
it's being
reason
cited
I-
incorrectly. So the FCC rule requires 3 things for hoaxes, for news distortion, and things like that.
That is
For
true.
hoaxes,
That is a really
it requires 3 things.
That is
2 of which were
really
cited.
interesting
One was that
panel.
it has to be a knowing lie. Okay, that has to be a knowing lie. 2, that the people approving it, the station approving it, has to have a reasonable expectation
Oh
of
my
public
God.
harm. Okay, and 3, that the public harm has to actually occur. What is public harm? In that rule, you'll read the definition. It's threats, or it's damage, I should say, to property, to health, or to safety, or if it's taking away like cops or firefighters or something from those things to kind of do that. It's meant to stop something like a War of the Worlds hoax. That's what the rule is for. But to act as if Jimmy Kimmel, in his words, applies to that, well, I'll just ask you, who was harmed? Who was hurt? Who got what
no, you don't have
property
to get
got
that
killed?
far. So how was it even a knowing law? The first one was a lie.
Yeah, I
It
mean,
wasn't-
none of
the
it-
first thing
none of
wasn't
it
a lie.
applies,
Well, okay, I think
wonder
you
how
guys
Fox
just
is
you
still
guys just
here.
proved my point. I mean, that's the Harvick cost, is that now there's a bunch of lefties running around saying that it was a right-wing shooter. A bunch of people
That's
believe
not
that,
harm in
despite
the
all
definition of the
evidence.
rule, man.
Wait,
People
first of
believing a
all,
thing that's not true is not
believing-
harm in the
believing
definition of the
something
rule.
is not true is not
Wait,
necessarily
wait,
Wait,
that's
wait,
public.
wait,
I
wait.
think
You
that's
don't
public
believe
harm.
studying
believing
falsehood.
something that isn't
To believe
true
something is
isn't
not
a
true?
harm? Of course it's. Wait, stop. Let's zoom out. Believing something that is not true is harm. This is why Alex Jones was sued
Not
for $1 billion.
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
If I believe I'm the
Yes.
prettiest boy in the world,
Why are we-
am
wait,
I
wait,
harming
Believing
myself?
something that is not true about someone who was just killed in a political assassination is obviously harm.
Not
If you
by
believe
the
that Alex
definition of the
Jones deserved to be
FCC.
sued
What
as
property
he
is harmed
was
by that?
I'm
Where
sorry?
are you-
What
where are you
property
seeing
got
the
what property got
where-
destroyed or
Where are
damaged
you
because of
seeing
that?
What
I'm
property
on
was
that-
destroyed in the Alex Jones case?
I'm
Okay, we're
looking
not
at the
talking about
FCC
Alex
thing.
Jones
I
right
don't see
now.
anything
We're
with
talking
the
about
FCC.
this
I'm
one
sorry,
specifically.
Confluence. I'm sorry. I want to.
Sorry.
What harm was there from the Alex Jones case?
We're not
when he
talking
was
about the Alex
lying
Jones. I'm
about
going to ask my question again with the
shooting
Kimmel case,
victims?
which is the one that we are adjudicating today, right?
My
In the
point
Kimmel
is that
case-
these are exactly one-to-one parallel.
and also
in this context,
no,
right?
because
No, they're
wasn't
not.
the Alex Jones thing a civil suit?
It was a civil suit.
No,
Yes.
Wick, the distinction here is the Alex Jones thing did manifest in real harm. It's not one-to-one because it's not an FCC violation. It's Alex Jones causing harm to the victims of the Sandy Hook shooting by lying about them. But to be clear, Jimmy Kimmel
is
did not
true.
lie. In the best interpretation, you can say he might have said that this guy was a MAGA shooter, but that's not, one, proving intent, and two, a lie, because you can also interpret it as that, hey, MAGA is trying to push this on everyone but themselves, which is exactly what they did, because before we had any information, they were claiming it was a trans shooter.
But we're not all autistic here, right? We know what an implication is. Like if you take a super literal reading of it, I agree, and I think that's what Wick tried to do yesterday, which I think maybe Wick had too much in utero Tylenol or something, because like that's too literal of a
What?
reading. I think anyone who like looks at that
He
is
didn't
gonna
actually
see,
say it, but we're going to say he said it because
But
you know.
he did say it.
He didn't say it!
Well, look, when Nick Fuentes talks about how you can't bake 6 million cookies, he didn't say anything about the Holocaust, but we all know what he means. There's a clear implication for anyone who's not
But
like
that
terminally
clear
like,
implication does not exist in
brain-broken.
this case.
In good faith, because I understand. When I first heard this, I said you could absolutely.
I hate
interpret
the way
this
people
as
use
him
the word
saying the shooter
autistic
was
and
MAGA. But can you at least acknowledge that
common
there's
day
definitely
speech.
not 100% proof of intent there, and it's very
I think
plausible.
there's a good faith reading in a different direction.
I do, Soypill. I actually do
okay.
acknowledge. I do acknowledge it's possible, but I think. Would you acknowledge that? I think probably let's say 90% of people that listened to Kimmel that day heard him say that the shooter was probably MAGA. That's what
very
most.
possible.
That's what
Even
most
if
Americans.
possible, and I'm
heard.
acknowledging
you said
that.
probably.
But the problem is the FCC violation says proof and intent of lying, not, well, people might have walked away with this with the wrong thing, which is a fair criticism to have, but that is not why they're taking this down, and that's not why they're threatening these people, and it's...
Here's
Okay, so actually, but wait, I want to ask a quick question then. So let's say Nick Fuentes was on ABC and he said his 6 million cookies, you couldn't bake those in a given time. Would you say, well, would you be sitting here and say,
No,
well,
I
I
wouldn't,
understand why people would say
because
it, but
Nick
like
Fuentes
literally
is a
he didn't say
neo-Nazi,
it.
and Jimmy Kimmel does not have the same precedent in history that Nick Fuentes does, so I don't think this is a good analogy.
Wait, how is that? How is that not
Well,
a good analogy?
one of them's like,
If we're-
there's
Oh yeah, I remember that 6 million cookies joke, and I knew exactly what Nick Fuentes was trying to say. Lol. I think everybody did.
literally no other
statement
way you could
itself-
interpret this unless for some reason Nick Fuentes
Well, you could
just
take the
happened to pick
literal
a
case.
random
You could,
number
yeah,
of
maybe
cookies
he's
that happen to be 6
exactly.
million.
Well, could you?
And the
would you
other
admit
is a
that's
very
possible?
reasonable. When I say reasonable, you reasonably agree that it could be that what he said was something that I believe, which is that MAGA was trying to paint this as anyone but themselves, right?
I think
they were
if
saying,
99%
this person
of your
is
audience
trans.
takes
This-
something some way, that is significant. I
Yeah, it
think
is obvious.
you agreed with me that the vast majority of people
That's-
watching that,
I said
that's,
that's
that's what
possible.
you
I didn't
even
agree
heard
with
the
you.
first time. You even said that the first time you heard it, that's what it sounded like. How many people are rewinding it over and over and listening to the literal words and being like, wait, is there another interpretation?
Have the standard that he intended to lie about it. Maybe he truly even believed it. That's
Well, they would
a
have to
completely
look-
different story.
look, I don't
But
e- I
it's
don't
also
even
possible
know.
to have multiple ways of
Look,
interpretation.
the
I don't even know
way
if it's
that
for
they-
sure an
the way
FCC
they would
violation.
actually
He
enforce
definitely
this.
intended to lie, and that's why it's okay that they got him off the air.
So
Well,
the way
well,
they would
by
actually
the way,
enforce
you
this.
can't- you
all
can't
of you
deny
guys
the
are bending
Sinclair
over
and the
backwards to
Netstar stuff.
strictly interpret this in a very strict way. When the president is contradicting you on television, saying, "Actually, I don't give a fuck about that. It's because he's being mean to me." So I don't know
Donald
why
Trump
we keep
says
playing
a bunch
these
of
games.
nonsense. I
He's
mean, like,
the fucking president. Stop
I
hiding
understand,
behind that and grinning about a
I'm not
curve.
hiding behind that. I just am
Hey.
open. I'm honest with you. He says a lot of shit. I
Soy,
mean, like, what do you want? Do
I
you want me
will
to like
accept that
just
argument.
deep
Comes
throat
to
Trump
fruition
the whole
from what
time?
from the shit he says.
Wait, I
He's
will
not just
accept
saying
that
shit.
argument the moment proof is produced that Trump actually called Carr and said, "Go ahead, get him off the air, pull their license." You do
Well,
that, You
hold
show me
on,
some kind
hold
of
on.
proof,
I
some
mean,
evidence.
Sparky, hold on, just real
I'll
quick.
be
Hold
more
on.
than happy.
Hold on.
He is literally saying that in the video. Do you want to watch? He's like, I think they should probably have their license revoked. You know, it's up to Brendan Carr, but you know, well, I don't know. Maybe
Carr,
he could
he's
interpret
not
it
given an
multiple
order.
ways.
That's a big difference.
Okay, well, all right,
Okay,
cool.
come on.
Look,
Obviously, he's
just
giving
just like when your buddy Destiny, you know,
My buddy?
basically does the whole rid me of this priest bullshit. You know,
What?
it's
Won't
yes,
someone
when
rid me
he's-
of this troublesome priest? It's a famous
Yes.
quote. Yeah.
Yeah,
But,
if I don't know if Destiny said that, but if he did, I would also interpret that as bad. If you're talking about his stuff about
Destiny
like
did not say
Republicans
that,
should
by
be
the way.
scared,
No, he did not
you
say
should know
that.
that I've confronted him publicly about this
inferred it.
twice, so I'm absolutely doing that. Like,
yes,
not,
I have
like,
actually
letting that
seen you
slide.
confront him, and I actually think that's kind of based, but it just it is what it is.
Hold on.
You
Nothing
know,
was
Can we
question
not
my
hold
choices
on?
more than when all
Can we
the
not
other
understand
people
when the
did, by the way.
FCC Carr, right, the chair of the FCC goes on a
What a panel.
program, right? I think it was Benny Johnson's podcast. and
What a
said,
panel.
We can do this the easy way, or we can do this the hard way.
Yes.
Do we not interpret that at least as a threat?
No, I will tell you 100% that is a threat.
Okay, so this
However,
is
they
why you
haven't
are not allowed.
adjacent.
The government is not allowed to make threats to
fuck they
private
aren't.
companies
The
to say
actual fuck
you
they
will do
aren't.
this or we will punish you. And
You
when
are
it comes to
insane
speech.
if you think the
Yeah,
government.
yeah.
cannot threaten.
Why do you think that's not a thing that can happen?
Because the
Jesus.
Supreme Court has ruled several times that the government cannot use coercive threats to pressure a private corporation to
And yet the
for their
FCC
speech.
exists.
Well, why
today.
not though?
The FCC has been doing that against radio stations.
But why
and
not, though?
broadcasters. Their
Can you
entire
can you give me
history.
another
They
time where the chair of the
impose
FCC
fines.
publicly threatened to remove a broadcaster for their speech?
If I remember right,
Why not, though?
Sinclair
Why
was
not?
actually threatened by the FCC a while back. I think for the radio shit.
Jason, while you're looking
I'll
that up,
look it
I just want to be clear. Like, I think what you're painting is these regulatory bodies absolutely are going to have some sort of pressure on these institutions always. But for example, if the FEMA was like, "Hey, here are conditions of aid. You can't take this money, Mr. Mayor, and then spend it all on gambling," that is coercive pressure, right? But if you said, "Hey, I'm not going to give you this money if you say anything bad about Trump," which is, by the way, something that Republicans have floated recently, that's different. That is not, "Hey, we're making sure you're doing what you are supposed to be doing with this money." That is saying, if you are not explicitly partisan towards me, I will not allow you to
But
have the thing that you have.
that's emphatically not what Carr said. Okay, right? Like you acknowledge that.
Well, first of all, he literally wrote this in Project 2025. If you want to go read about how he wants to do this, and I don't know if he explicitly said what I just said for that FEMA example, but he has this been planning this out. He wrote that section in Project 2025 in fucking like October. So like, yes, this is absolutely what he's been trying to do.
I think we have to look at the case on Benny Johnson. What did he say? What was the exact thing? He didn't say you need to be more charitable towards Trump. He said what he said about Charlie Kirk could be an FCC violation, and it could be. He's not even saying it is. I'm not even saying it is. It could be.
Oh my God.
And he's back on the air. So I guess the FCC pressure wasn't enough.
And the election wasn't stolen, so no harm, no foul. We don't have to worry about it anymore.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm just
The
saying
2020
I
election
think
is coming
you
on,
can
bro. I
acknowledge
don't
it's
even care.
also probably pressure from the syndicates like Sinclair and Netstar and stuff too, right? That probably had a play in it. It probably
That's
wasn't
why
just
that's why the
Carr.
FCC threatened them too. Right? The FCC Carr in that same program, he said he called upon the affiliates to do this or else they'd have to take measures. And remember, Sinclair and what was the other group? Nexstar? Yeah. They both have Nexstar has a multi-billion-dollar merger that still needs approval by the FCC, right? In the
Disney
works.
still has one
And-
going with NFL Network too.
Yeah, and the Sinclair,
So I mean, there's a lot of
is always making purchases of TV stations that require FCC approval. So again, you understand how when the FCC head says, "Hey, unless you do this, we're gonna have an issue." This is multi-billions of dollars that are on the line for them.
I want to add to this because I hope you're not talking hypothetically. This is exactly what happened with Colbert and the Paramount merger. This was not we understand we violated something, we're going to like do XYZ. They settled a case that was completely frivolous and got rid of Colbert because of the pressure from the admin that said, "We are going to approve your merger and we won't do it if you don't
Do you
this."
grant that
And
there
then
has been pressure? Wait. Sorry. Do you grant that there's been pressure by the left in similar ways? On Spotify in the case of Joe Rogan, on Facebook in the case of COVID stuff, on YouTube.
What does that mean by the left?
Carrying too much weight because none of this is about criticism of a person. It is about potentially harmful misinformation. But yes, there's always going to be some sort of pressure from the
What do you
administration.
mean? Wait, why do you think that those are different?
Okay, so one of them is I don't like
In
the
terms
way
of
these
the
people
free
are
speech
talking
rights
about
of the
me.
people.
And hey, potentially the things you're saying, like, because I agree, I didn't disagree with this. When you said words could be harmful, yeah, when Joe Rogan's dipshit goes out and says you don't need to get the vaccine, just take hydroxychloroquine or whatever, and it potentially is going to kill millions of people with his rhetoric, I can understand the government having concerns and wanting to step in there, and I might be okay with certain amounts of pressure being applied. Versus, hey, you're being too negative towards me.
What
and
kinds
you
of
need to
pressure
stop.
and on whom?
Do you understand that those things are different?
Wait. What kinds of pressure and on whom? Because to be clear, the case of Alex Jones, he did
for
something
example,
illegal, and to be
what
clear,
happened-
Joe Rogan did not do anything illegal, right?
I didn't say he did anything illegal.
nobody
What I
said
said
he
was,
did. Okay,
if you
so
want
it is
to
different
potentially
to go
talk
after
to a
Alex
company
Jones.
and say, hey, we've noticed that these types of misinformation are spreading on your platform that
Mob
could cause
boss.
harm. For example,
Threaten
vaccine
them.
denialism. And I'm not saying, like, first of all, no, because what are they threatening them with? If they're saying, hey, you don't have to take this
What
down.
are they
I understand
threatening
there could be-
Spotify with?
What
Are you
what
serious?
what were they threatening them with? Seriously.
Spotify obviously needs shit from the government. Every large
What were they
organization
threatening
needs shit
them
from
with?
the government.
Okay, I'm sorry. Can you show me? Because maybe I'll agree with you if this is true. If Elizabeth Warren was like, we're going to take away your like ability to fucking
Elizabeth
broadcast.
Warren
if
was
you don't
claiming
do what
that she
we
wanted
say,
to break up Facebook. She was threatening to break them up as a company. Obviously, that would cost them many billions of dollars. Of course, that is a cost to them. The same thing goes for
Hasn't she been
Spotify.
advocating for
The
that
same
before
thing goes
any
for
COVID
YouTube.
or any misinformation
No,
shit
she's
before?
been doing it explicitly in conjunction with her complaints about their speech, the speech that is on their platforms.
Okay, that's fair then. If that's exactly what
Okay,
how
so
you're
that's
representing
bad.
it, hold on,
Elizabeth
wait.
Warren has done
if
that
that is
shit,
how you're
Kamala Harris
representing
has
it,
done
if
that
Warren
shit,
is
right?
explicitly threatening them with
That is
breaking up
true.
if they don't do what she says, I would say that is a similar amount of pressure. Although I would say the motivations are completely fucking different depending on, hey, I want to
Okay,
save
so the
people by getting the
motivations
vaccine.
are good
yes,
and
the
holy,
motivations
so because
absolutely
the
do
motivations
change
are
whether or not
lovely
there's a
and
violation
lovey-dovey,
of
it's
freedom
totally
of speech.
fine.
Because obviously we're willing to give up certain rights when it comes to the fact that we might be killing millions of people. But regardless of that, I'm still not sure if that's exactly what
I
happened.
have a question.
because
Wait, I'm sorry. Let's zoom out. I have a question.
To be fair,
Do you think
Elizabeth
it is
Warren
more?
did say that in
Do you think that
2019.
free speech is?
It was
equal,
before COVID. It was before COVID.
Oh, it was?
She certainly ramped it up during COVID.
By the way,
She
I
may
do
have
not
said
believe that
certain-
That's like
free
two or
speech is
three
it
times
absolute.
now you
No.
completely
She's
misrepresented
cer-
something, and I've like granted you the good faith of saying
That is
if
not
you're right,
completely
and then
That's a complete.
Okay,
To
that
be
is
clear,
not completely
no, yeah, you're
fair.
just wrong
I said
100%.
that
She did
she-
not
that's
do
not
that
wrong.
specifically
Primarily
for that.
around
That was
COVID?
always part of her
Wrong.
platform.
She
Yeah,
said it
that's wrong.
primarily around COVID. I'm sure if you really search
sorry,
the
do you
web,
remember
you
10
can
minutes ago
find
when he
some
said she
one-off things said
explicitly
by
did
either
not do it
Carr or
before,
Trump
and now you're
back
saying
in
that is the case?
2023
No,
before
he said the
anything
opposite.
that
He
Kimmel
said she
said.
might have done it, and that's what he just said. He said she might have started
No, yeah, he
pre-COVID
just said
and
it,
ramped
but 10
it
minutes
up.
ago he said no, she wasn't. It was explicitly this. Just
It
to be
was
clear.
it was
So-
about COVID. Yes, there was some stuff that she said prior to COVID, just as this is about Kimmel, but certainly you could find examples of shit that Trump has said 6 months ago and
he
that Carr has
explicitly-
said 6 months ago.
he explicitly
Obviously.
said about
Well,
But
it's
it's
funny because if you
obviously
look
about
at Carr's
Kimmel now,
statements in the
and it's
past, it's
obviously
actually the
was about
opposite.
COVID.
When Joe
It was
Biden was
obviously
president,
about Joe
Brendan
Rogan.
Carr said, I actually do think that criticizing the president, such as with his satirical comedy, should be allowed, and we should encourage this sort of
Yes,
thing.
and
And then as
Elizabeth
soon as
Warren
Trump
had said
became
some lovely
president,
things
then
in
he absolutely is
2012
flipping on this, and he's trying to like help his fucking like.
How is he
a
flipping on
publicist-
this? This is about Charlie Kirk and misinformation in the face of a tragedy. This isn't about Kimmel saying something bad about Trump. You keep
you guys
flipping
live in, like,
it
this
that
fucking-
way.
are you guys nurses?
Hold on, one at a time, one at a time, one at a time, one at a
Oh
time.
my
We're gonna
God.
give it to
I
Logic.
just
He hasn't got
Sorry,
it.
Biscuit, do you
Hold on,
just
just
have
real quick.
blinders on,
Logic.
and like the past and the
Soy,
future.
Soy,
Everything
stop.
this
On you, but I wanna
administration has been
clarify.
doing is,
No,
like,
Quibble,
completely
shut up.
irrelevant. It's like, well,
Soy,
no, we're
shut
just
up.
looking at this one
Shut up.
second
Shut
and
up.
believing them at their word.
Shut up. Quibble, I'm sorry, Logix. Logix wants to go. He's been trying to get in. We're gonna give the mic to Logix. Go ahead, Logix.
I just find this is what's happening. Y'all are picking out one instance and then looking at it in a vacuum and be like, oh, well, maybe this is why. Oh, you know, it doesn't matter what Brendan said back in 2020. It doesn't matter. He just said this now or whatever. Y'all keep picking things apart and trying to dissect it as if we don't have this framework that's been going on since 2016 that we can look at and see the sequence of events that lead to Trump is putting his hand in things and results are coming of that. And then just because it doesn't go his way, you're like, oh, well, you know, it's all okay. Nothing bad actually happened, even though time and time again we see this pattern of behavior. Like, look at this as an entire sequence of events, not one
What a
thing.
panel.
I agree. We should look at it
Oh my God,
as
Emily, yes, thank you for tier 1. For playing Starlation to our own stream sometimes and also to be safe in Crane. I gotta go. Be back later. Thank Thank you, Emily S, for the tier 1. Thank you very much. It is a great help. It is always a great support. Thank you.
Okay, before you go, hold on. Some housekeeping things. Okay, before you go, because I need to make a little money.
I'm going to zoom out.
I'm going to read some. I'll give you the mic as soon as I'm done with this. So first of all, we got 252 watching and 17 likes. What the hell? Like the fucking stream. Okay, I don't know what you're doing. Let me read some super chats and we'll get back to it. We don't have too many.
Why would you like a
$5 from Gen
fucking
X
stream?
to say, please get Will
If
Bird
it's
back
fucking,
in
then-
another debate with better opponents soon. Have him reach out to me if he's interested in a topic.
If it was a
$5
cool
from
stream.
Testicle Johnson to say Aircraft Sparky looks like diabetes and hypertension all at once.
Cool story. Show your face on the internet, fucker.
Gen X, thank you for the membership, tier 1. Fancy Teeth, for $2, says, should Fox be taken off if under the doctrine? Well, Fox, as I understand it, isn't.
Fox is not under the broadcast.
Fox is cable. No.
Just like
Actually has
CNN and
legally
MSNBC
argued
aren't under
they're
that either.
not news, which allows them to get away with a lot more, and still had to settle that Dominion lawsuit for
So
$100
you
million
press
for
like.
fucking lying. So.
All right.
Okay.
Finish the.
$5,
You
I'm
like
not
this
done
stream.
yet. $5 from Potentially
for it.
Criminal to say, had Carr not dabbed on Kimmel's removal on the Benny Johnson stream, this wouldn't have been an issue. This is where I had the problem on my end. And this
Please
guy
press
was right.
like on this stream.
Carr,
It's actually
after he was fired, said he did the what was the gif of the people going whoop whoop, we got him, right? Like Carr said he did it. Like,
He also
yeah, I got him
posted the,
fired.
yes, this is Project 2025. I definitely was going to do this the whole time. We lied about it to you during the election. I'm very happy we're doing this.
Yeah, $10 from
Yeah.
Will from Texas to say the Bush admin, including Ari Fleischer. Fleischer? I don't know. Publicly pressured ABC about Bill Maher, Jimmy Kimmel's late night predecessor. This really isn't completely unprecedented. Thank you for the $10, William from Texas. And with that,
used to watch
Quibbles,
Bill Maher.
the mic is yours.
Cool.
Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay. So, Logix, you are correct that we are sort of like focusing in on this very hyper-specific niche moment in history, and that there's a broader context of shit that's been happening for 15 years. There are certain things that are like obviously the left is more guilty of the thing, or in terms of election lies, that's the right. Okay, obviously the right is. In terms of who's getting subsidies by the government in order to make their speech, that's the left, right? All of the subsidies are.
Quibbles.
Quibble,
can
you keep cutting
You're
out.
cutting
Yeah,
out your
you
mic.
need to, you need to
weird,
adjust
man.
your mic.
Noise
Oh
for
shit.
Yeah, you're cutting
cut
out.
out every,
You're
like,
peaking.
few
It's every
seconds.
time you lean back.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. If I just like lean forward, is it gonna be fine?
That's fine so far.
Or just shout
Maybe.
more.
Okay, I'll do this then.
How about we all shout
go.
more?
Exactly right.
I think we're at a
Rage!
fine
In terms
level
of-
right now.
This is perfect. Okay, I'll speak exactly like this the entire time with no inflection. Okay, so in terms of like money given by the government to speech, giant billion-dollar subsidy, all of that is going to the left. That's a problem. It is reasonable to talk about it. In terms of the pressures that are being
before you move on,
placed
why is that a
by governmental officials onto the non-governmental, that is clearly something that Elizabeth is guilty of. That Kamala Harris and Tim Walzer.
Quibbles, you're still
something that
cutting
a
out.
lot. Really?
Cut it out, pal. Yeah.
Okay,
I don't know
this
if
is
there's a-
God
Infuriating.
telling you that your words
Hold up.
need to be censored. Okay, let's give it to.
Okay, how about this? Is this gonna?
We get what your point is, though. Let's
not the one
start
that's good.
start on the first one though. About your claim here that only the left is getting subsidies by the government.
No, oh
and
my
that's a
God,
problem.
am I about
So
to
I put out a
lose?
question about that, so I put
Oh,
out your
thank
question.
God.
And
One sec, I have to deal with an N-word poster in chat. Give me 2 seconds.
No.
he said Nazi in chat. What's going on? It's the N word.
No, the other one.
He said
The other
neighbor.
N-word.
Saw me
Nuclear?
and just lost it.
Okay, I keep losing,
Why-
so
why
I'm
would
I don't know if this makes me less racist, but when I read that,
gonna have to do something about this fight because it's difficult. Also, let's forget about this stupid panel and let's do something more intelligent. Let's do something more sophisticated and intelligent, and by that mean, let's do some Russian Media Monitor. Yeah, that's right. Let's do Russian Media Monitor. Let's do some more sophisticated content. Vladimir Solovyov is heard by Trump's rhetoric. Now that's what I'm talking about. Now that is perfect content before I have to go to Ukraine. Okay, this is going to be brilliant. Andrew Karta. Oh, Andrew Kartapolov criticizes Trump's UN speech and threatens Poland. I don't know which one. Okay, they're both short. Let's do both. Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos, and Mark Zuckerberg are a bunch of lefty billionaires or something. Yes, that's right. They're socialist billionaires. Alright, that's right. How did you know? Outspoken guests infuriate the hosts. Russian state TV praises Trump's attack on the media. Of course. Of course it does. Why am I not surprised by this? George. Full screen it. Actually, of course.
Конечно, от Трампа ждали.
This is not at all what was expected from Trump. Also, I think for context, I probably should cover his UN speech. I think that is something that I should consider doing for the sake of fairness and for the sake of justice, wouldn't you say? What do you think? Should I consider covering the Trump UN speech? Is that a thing that I should do?
Совсем не этого. И
logically speaking, the president
по логике вещей президент
of one of the most powerful countries on the planet,
одной из самых мощных,
the most powerful country on the planet, not one of the, okay?
стран на планете должен был бы
was supposed to be talking about global security.
говорить о глобальной безопасности, о своем видении
And about his vision of a future development,
дальнейшего развития
of
отношений
relations in this new world,
в этом новом мире. Тем более, что
especially since our president gave him this opportunity.
наш президент ему дал такую возможность. Он совсем недавно...
Just recently at the meeting of the Security Council. Yeah, exactly. Putin is such a gracious guy towards Trump, and Trump just does not appreciate it, I think. Trump should be... What did I miss? You missed a brain dead panel of Wick and me dying 5 times in Valkyrie profile. This stream will not be super long because I have to pack and prepare for Ukraine. I already have a ticket. I've already bought a ticket to Kyiv. So if you want to support me, please consider donating a little bit of money so that I will not starve in Kyiv. Yes, I am trying to, what's it called? Appeal to your emotions. Please allow me to buy groceries this week. I'm like Xander Hall in that respect. Also, hello. Lock in chat, that's right. Lock in, just like the Russian media monitor is locked in. I'm going to have to send some, what do you call them? Timestamps to fake out Cal Parker. When she says the thing, you know what to do, Chad. Yeah, when I say action, okay? Well, we are in the middle of a segment, so it makes no sense for me to say action now, but I don't even know what the purpose of this whole action thing is, but whatever.
безопасности рассказал о том, что мы
He said that after February 2026 we will continue
после февраля 26 года продолжим
to adhere to provisions of the START treaty.
Придерживаться положения договора ДСНВ. И казалось бы,
You would think that would be a better platform.
Где еще лучшая трибуна? чтобы ответить на
to respond to this proposal,
это предложение, успокоить мировое
to calm down the global community,
сообщество, что
to show that Trump really is a peacemaker.
Трамп действительно является
I mean, he clearly is not. This is his biggest failure, and this is going to be his legacy. The way he fumbles Ukraine is going to be his legacy. The way he stumbles and fumbles and is being played like a marionette. He's being controlled like a marionette by Putin. This is going to be his legacy about the biggest European world since World War II. That's the reality,
миротворцем, о чем он все время нам
which he is always telling us.
рассказывает. Но мы этого не услышали.
But we didn't hear this.
К сожалению, не
Unfortunately, we did not hear this.
услышали. И поэтому
Therefore, we can only guess
остается только гадать, какие же решения будут в Соединенных
what
Штатах.
kind of decisions will be made in the US. Not good. Not good for Russia. And that is bad. You guys.
Приняты. И ведь не зря наш
It wasn't an accident. It wasn't accidental that our president
президент там же на Совете Безопасности дал
right there at the Security Council
поручение нашим
gave a directive to certain agencies
определенным ведомствам, чтобы они внимательно
to
наблюдали,
carefully watch what the United States will do.
что же будут делать Соединенные Штаты. Потому что
We can adhere to these provisions
придерживаться положением
only on a mutual mirror-like basis.
можно только в зеркальном отображении. И мы
We
придерживаемся.
will adhere to it, and you will also as well.
И вы. Тогда в этом есть
Then it would make some sense.
какой-то смысл. А если
If
одна
one side does not observe them,
сторона их не придерживается, то тогда и мы
then we will be fully within our rights
добровольные самоограничения
not to apply our voluntary self-restraint. I mean, Russia just breaks any sort of treaties all the time, especially when it comes to Ukraine. So I'm not sure what Russia is even... I'm not sure what these guys are even talking about. It's not like Russia's always on the we keep our end of the bargain side of things.
имеем полное право не применять. Поэтому
Therefore, it would have been better
лучше бы, конечно,
for him to talk about this
вместо эскалатора и
instead of escalators and teleprompters.
суфлера он бы поговорил об этом. Ну и
Also, naturally, he has shown to the European partners
естественно, европейские партнеры, которым он в лице
what their place is through Macron.
Макрона показал, где их место. Но вот
The Europeans are trying to inflame the situation. I mean, Europe is being attacked by Russia as we speak, quite literally. Directly when it comes to Ukraine and indirectly when it comes to hybrid warfare in the rest of European countries. So I'm not... If there's any party that is inflaming the situation, it is Russia. All that Russia would have to do to de-escalate this whole situation is to withdraw from Ukraine and cease the hybrid warfare against Europe. So... And the inflammation I would expect it to lower,
ситуация, которая пытается
to
раздувать
lessen. The Europeans are trying to inflame.
европейцы сначала с
First with drones, then with MiG fighter jets. What do you mean Europe is trying to inflame with drones and then with MiG fighter jets? Russia is doing the violation of airspace with drones and with the jets, not Europe.
дронами, с мигами. Слушайте,
Is this a joke?
когда им что-то кажется,
Listen, when they imagine something is happening,
им, по идее, надо было бы креститься, но
they should lay a cross on themselves.
креститься они не могут, потому что они не христиане.
But they can because they are heathens. What? Of course. Yes, they're Satanists. Yes, I'm sorry. It's Europe that is inflaming the situation when Russia is directly breaching European airspace.
Вот. Что касается дронов, слушайте, ну ладно.
As far as drones are concerned, listen.
Ну, и в Осло они летают.
They're flying in Oslo. They're flying in
И
Copenhagen.
в Копенгагене летают. И везде они летают.
They're flying everywhere.
Только никто не нашел
But no one was able to find a single
ни
drone.
одного дрона, и никто не знает, кто их
And
запускает.
no one knows who is launching them.
Инопланетяне. Кстати, я еще
Must be aliens.
не удивился, почему до сих
I was surprised that they are yet to say
пор не сказали, что русские хакеры
that Russian hackers turned off the teleprompter
отключили суфлер и эскалатор.
and the escalator at the UN General Assembly. Wait, what? But the 19 or 20 drones found in Poland, everybody knows who launched them. They were found. So I have no clue what this guy is talking about when he says that no drones were found and nobody knows who launched them. I wonder who sent those Russian-made jets over the NATO airspace. Yeah, with Russian pilots in them.
На Генассамблее. Это как-то они...
They aren't reaching deep.
Мелковато, проморгали. Пока,
Yes,
да.
they wasted an opportunity.
Но на самом деле надо серьезно
In reality, we should be treating all of this
к этому
seriously.
всему относиться, потому что за этим может...
Because what might be behind it? This video will threaten Poland. Poland has not been threatened yet, but don't worry. The threat to Poland is coming.
стоять подготовка,
In an informational preparation
такая информационная подготовка к
for bolstering their forces,
усилению своих группировок, развертыванию дополнительных
deploying additional air defense systems
систем ПВО
and fighter aircraft.
и истребительной авиации
Okay, what's wrong with deploying additional anti-air systems exactly?
непосредственно на восточной
Specifically on their eastern borders.
границе для того, чтобы потом каким-то образом попытаться влезть
Into this Ukrainian endeavor at some point.
в эту украинскую авантюру.
Avantura.
Об этом
Polish Foreign Affairs Minister apparently let it slip. Oh, there you go. What do you mean let it slip? It's just official policy that Poland wants to bolster the eastern flank. That's not something that Sikorski let slip. It's out there in the open. Vladimir, is this a joke? What a question, Lucy. You're literally watching a state-sponsored media clowns show where people are desperately trying to make sense about how the reality doesn't make any sense. That is true. That is silly of me.
видимо, проговорился польский министр иностранных дел по
The one by the name of Sikorski.
фамилии Сикорский. Ну, слушайте, я вспомнил
Listen, it reminded me of one folk proverb that says,
тут одну народную мудрость, как говорят,
whoever isn't living righteously will be killed by God. Mhm. Brilliant saying.
кто неправедно живет, того Бог убьет. Потому
Because the one who threatens is trembling himself.
что тот, кто грозит, он сам дрожит. И господин Сикорский, тот, кто грозит, он сам дрожит. И
Mr. Sikorski is saying all of this out of fear.
господин Сикорский...
I mean, yeah, a lot of countries are fearful of Russia, which is why, yeah, that's
как говорит. От своего же
out of his animal fear. Oh my God.
страха. Потому что
Poland will certainly not survive being divided again.
следующего раздела Польша точно не переживет. Но они
But
уверены,
they are confidently moving towards this.
к этому идут. Вообще,
Out of normal polls, you can only remember Jerzy.
вот поляков последних можно нормально вспомнить только Ежи Тыца. Вот это
This is a real Polish patriot. Yeah, Russia is going to lecture Poland about real Polish patriots, of course. Lucy, is your train delayed? I've seen that somewhere because of increased bombing. No, it's okay. I still have it. It's not delayed. Also, I'm not gonna go by train. I'm gonna go by bus.
Настоящий польский патриот.
Definitely.
Который в 2016
In
году
2016, he spit on them all and said,
плюнул на них, сказал, я не могу больше с вами жить.
I can't live with you any longer.
Приехал в Россию, добровольцем ушел на
He came to Russia and went in as a volunteer
СВО и геройский
to
там
fight in the special military operation. Oh, the Polish propagandists that went to fight on Russian side and died. Yeah, that was a real Polish patriot. Yeah, there's nothing more Polish patriotic than going to Russia to fight on the Russian side in the war against Ukraine. Yeah, that is a true Polish patriot.
Вот это вот герой польского народа.
And died there as a hero. Yeah, as a Polish patriot.
И я уверен,
This is the hero of the Polish people. Yeah, a real hero for the Polish people goes to Russia to fight for Russia, I guess.
что когда СВО закончится, мы ему
I'm sure that once the special military operation ends,
памятник поставим в Варшаве.
we will erect a monument to him in Warsaw. What? We will erect a monument to him in Warsaw? Russia will erect a monument to him in Warsaw. What is the implication of this? That the special military operation will end with Warsaw being Russian? What the hell is the implication here? No Russian will ever tell Poles who is a national hero for us. Alright, let's go. Vladimir Solovyev is hurt by Trump's rhetoric. Oh no. Solovyev is hurt by Trump's rhetoric. Please don't hurt me. Please don't hurt Vladimir Solovyev. It's hurtful words. Herbs. Dicks now. Imagine tricolored dicks all across Poland. This is marvelous. I'm gonna read this in a sad voice because I think it warrants it. I think it is justified for me to read this in a very sad tone of voice. What the hell is this hype music? Well, good morning.
Доброе утро. Ну давайте.
Let's take a look at what is happening.
Смотреть, что происходит, потому что как
Because we tend to be like slur for Ukrainians.
обычно нас бывает, мы как у хохлов из
It's either betrayal or victory.
Рада перемога, так у нас
Either all is lost or we have won.
все пропало, мы победили, Трамп наш, Трамп не наш.
Trump is ours or Trump isn't ours.
Трамп свой.
Trump is his own. Trump is a U.S. president.
Президент Соединенных Штатов. То, что он сказал, крайне
What he
неприятно.
said is exceptionally unpleasant.
Крайне неприятно. Потому что...
First of all, some of what he said,
во-первых, часть из того, что он сказал, мы сами знаем и понимаем.
we know and understand ourselves.
И у нас есть вопросы.
Oh, okay. We have questions that we are often voicing.
Которые мы озвучиваем и на которые зачастую не получаем ответа.
But usually aren't getting any answer.
Сколько раз мы говорили о том,
How many times have we talked
что да, там бешеные очереди на
about insane lines to get gasoline?
бензина нет, не будет, это
There is
точно.
no gas and there won't be any.
говорил Трамп,
This is what Trump was talking about.
многокилометровые.
Lines for many kilometers.
Давайте смотреть правде в глаза.
Let's face the truth.
Сколько раз в этой студии
How
я
many times did I scream in this studio
орал о том, что необходимо
about bringing our air defense systems to order?
систему ПВО привести в порядок.
Because if you were to look closely every time,
Потому что если посмотреть внимательно, что каждый раз у нас вводится
there is a blanket airspace closure. Planes don't fly.
очередной ковер, не летают самолеты, у нас опять отрубают
The mobile internet gets cut off.
мобильный интернет, ну и как, помогает?
Well, does it help?
Судя по ударам по
Based on strikes against our oil refinery facilities, which we should be talking about actually, should be doing a segment about that because Russia is not doing well when it comes to gasoline, it seems. Crimea has been suffering from the biggest shortage of gasoline since 2014, I believe.
нашим нефтеперерабатывающим.
Based on strikes against our oil refinery facilities
мощностям и
and the degenerates who regularly post videos.
генераторам, регулярно выкладывающим видео, всех все
Everyone is fine with all of it.
устраивает. И чего?
Now what?
Нам ставят
We are being faulted.
вину. Зеленский
Zelensky is happily stating that he liberated
заявляет, что он освободил
a bazillion kilometers in Donbass.
хренелиард километров в Донбассе
And surrounded 1,000 of our soldiers.
и окружил 1000 наших бойцов. Да, это все вранье.
These are lies.
Но это вранье будет продолжаться,
These lies will continue
пока не будет
until we start having resounding victories.
оглушительных побед. А чтобы оглушительные победы были,
In order to have resounding victories,
необходимо,
we need military decisions
чтобы были решения
about conducting our operation. I think he is alluding to Trump calling Russia a paper tiger. Well, that is sad.
военными о
About conducting our operation.
проведении операции было
All
предоставление
necessary forces and means should be provided
всех необходимых сил и средств для осуществления
to carry out this operation.
этой операции. Были назначены
People who will be responsible should be appointed.
ответственные, и потом
Afterwards, those who deserve it should be rewarded.
награждены достойные и наказаны виновные
In case of a failure,
в случае неудачи.
those who are responsible should be punished.
Нам нужны люди,
We need people who are trained and ready.
обученные и готовые. Значит ли это, что надо объявлять
Does
мобилизацию?
it mean that we need a mobilization? No.
Нет. Значит ли это, что мы должны
Does it mean we should
изменить отношение к
change our approach to seeking people? Yes.
поиску людей? Да. Мы должны предлагать более активно.
We should be proposing it more actively.
Службу в рядах вооруженных
Serving in the armed forces, signing a contract.
сил, подписать контракт. Мы должны заинтересовать людей,
We should interest people, including young people.
молодых людей. Плохо ли то, что вчера сказал
Is it bad for us what Trump said yesterday?
Трамп для нас? Обидно.
It's hurtful.
Про бумажного тигра, про
About the paper tiger, about not having breakthroughs.
то, что нет прорывов. Здравия желаю.
Salutations.
Погоды.
And now the weather. followed by news.
Здравия желаю, товарищ подполковник.
Greetings, Comrade Lieutenant Colonel.
Доклад закончен.
I've concluded my report. This war is for a long time. War? What do you mean war? What a slip, isn't it? So it's a war now? Wasn't it a special military operation? What happened?
Война надолго. К этому надо быть
We have to be ready for this.
готовым.
Здравия желаю, Владимир.
Greetings, Vladimir Rudolfovich.
Так точно, с вами абсолютно.
This is exactly right. I completely agree with you.
Абсолютно полностью согласен.
We are still a long ways away from victory.
До победы еще далеко, и понятно, что это будет
This will clearly be difficult.
тяжелая история, война.
This war will last longer than another year. 100%.
Один год, это 100%. Ну, а мы...
All of us are ready to do everything that is up to us.
Мы все готовы сделать все от нас зависящее, чтобы
To win on every front.
победить на всех фронтах, и это даже не
No doubt about it.
подлежит никакому сомнению.
Brilliant. That was amazing. That was the best. That was so sad. Reading this like this, it made me sad. Trump is such a mean guy. How could he say such hurtful things about the Russian Federation? I cannot believe this. This is hurtful. This is hurtful words. Sticks and stones may hurt my bones, but mean words will break me in half. Okay? There we go. That was amazing. That was great. Is the Russian people ready to hold another war? Of course. Trump turns a funeral into a MAGA rally. You need to talk about iDubbbz, 12 viewers. Wow, okay. Criticizing someone for only having 12 viewers, huh? I feel so called out right now. That is hurtful, okay? That hurts. That hurts me personally. Whatever. People are just mean buttheads. You know? People are mean to me for some reason. Unexplained reason. Oh my god, Lucy, you have iDubbbz level of views. That is one way of looking at it. Oh, this is still going. Wig panel is still going. Could Poland stop a Russian invasion? No. The answer, of course, is no. I hate to say it.
Understand how it works.
If the government, no, you have to be silent.
No.
If the government has for 50 years a long-term relationship with an airplane production company, and that airplane production company all of a sudden starts making shitty airplanes or airplanes that are intended to fall out of the sky, and then the government says, hey, we liked your airplanes back when they were good airplanes, but now they...
Russia launched an invasion at the one that it launched against Ukraine. Poland would not be able to defend itself. A Polish general had stated that Poland would be able to defend itself for a week at most because it would lack the ammunition to do so. So it's not up to debate even. Also, there was some apology video from Ethan Klein. Wanna check that out? Yes. Please link. Please link. We need content. We need Ethan Klein content. Also, I think we might do a react content, okay? Oh. Also, I'm gonna make myself some food while you link it, okay? I have to eat. We are discussing a scenario in which Russia will be invading through Belarus. It would be feasible for Russia to invade Poland through Belarus, actually. Warsaw is not very far from the Belarusian border. Keep in mind, okay? Also, that was just because the invasion was launched very incompetently, which we should all be very thankful for, by the way. Wait, Vladimir, why didn't you link the apology video? Oh no. Russia is not just as incompetent. That is something that you just cannot say. That does not bear out in facts. Russia is much more competent than at the beginning of this invasion. Everybody says it, including Ukrainian soldiers say that they are much better than they have been at the beginning. In fact, you can go to Dylan Burns documentaries from over a year ago where he interviews soldiers and asks them if they feel that Russians are improving, and the Ukrainian soldiers, without exception, responded that the Russians are learning, adapting, and they are getting better. They are getting much more competent than they were at the beginning of the... Yeah. Unfortunate as it is. They're definitely not as incompetent as they were at the very start of this. Mushu, mister. I gave him a hot dog. Mushu. The weird part is that I don't see the video on the Hehe's channel. That is weird. That is weird.
I z tego powodu głęboko żałuję i
Oh my god, Jesus Christ. AI Polish voice has assaulted me. Ugh. That was horrible. I apologize for that. Oh my god. Wow, that was horrible. I apologize for that.
And for that, I deeply am sorry, and I'm ashamed of this clip.
Ethan apologizes for pro-Israel comments amid genocide. Which comments?
Came back to TikTok to defend myself against wild accusations, but I also came back because I want to apologize for things that I genuinely got wrong. For example,
I'm planning to go to Israel in June with my parents, and I'm actually really excited to go there. I want to show you guys how beautiful, how multicultural, how like free it feels for people, or just, it's a beautiful place. It is. It's one of the most diverse places I've ever been.
Looking back, I definitely feel ashamed for the way I spoke about Israel with such levity at the time that a genocide was happening. I completely understand why people could watch this clip and judge me harshly for it. I want to apologize to anyone in the Palestinian diaspora or anybody that's been affected by this war that felt that I was trivializing diaspora or anybody judge me harshly for it. I want to apologize to anyone in the Palestinian diaspora.
Is that a term they're using now for Palestinians? A Palestinian diaspora? Okay.
I mean, why not? Why would you not use such a term?
Or anybody that's been affected by this war.
What other term would you use, actually? That's all right, Bushu. Fido wants something from me for some reason. He's a pervert. Please, Bushu, not that. Fido will be so sad when I'll go to Ukraine. Be sad the times for Fido, I'm afraid. You understand, right?
Felt that I was trivial.
Fido. Co? No co, Fido? Fido? I gave him food and now he's just complaining. I should not have given him food. That was my mistake. I feel like I gave him a finger and now he wants my whole hand. I don't have any more food, you pervert. Not so off, Ido. Maybe I'll give him some more food. One moment. Maybe he's hungry. Maybe I underestimated his power level. I think he just wanted to play with me. I think he just wanted to play. Wait, is Fido Hungarian? Nope. Now introducing Lucy's chair. Uh-oh. All right, let's look at the apology. Oh, it's on TikTok. Like, I don't get that part because TikTok is big money, okay? TikTok is fame, money, and fortune. 100.
The suffering.
Also, what's wrong with my chair? My chair is very beautiful.
Or that you've gone through. And for that, I deeply am sorry, and I'm ashamed of this clip.
Well, certainly they'll all accept him now. True. We're one apology away from acceptance.
Ethan Klein apology tour? What does that mean? Are you guys talking about the one TikTok that he posted being like, hey, that one time I actually said I love Israel and I'm going to go there and it's multifaceted. That was actually my mistake. I'm so sorry about that. But that's it. Nothing else, okay? Nothing before and nothing after. Yeah, I think it's a sign of the times. It's a sign of the times that even someone who is as viciously a defender of Israel,
viciously a defender of Israel,
attacker of Israel's biggest critics, is recognizing that he feels the need to do some propaganda to kind of take back some of the things that he's done. Yeah, that's cool though. Hazan, look at these rats jumping ship. Yeah. All right.
Remember, especially for people like Hassan absolutely doesn't give a fuck about any Palestinians, okay? He loves and cherishes Palestinian death because he gives him more to talk about on his stream. These people will never, ever accept a position change or accept
ever
of apologies or anything relating to the Israel-Palestine stuff because they don't care about it. They're not looking to change minds. Israel-Palestine
Yeah, that's not fair.
Is a wedge issue that they use to separate themselves from center-left people that they can use to infinitely attack center-left people. So it doesn't matter like what.
Which one is not fair? Socialix. That's projection coming from the no shot. That is true. That is definitely true. Did not feel like projection, I'm not gonna lie.
Apology you would give or what you would say about it, or even if you fully change your position on it, unless you also completely adopt the socialist, tanky, commie, whatever mindset. This is just an issue that they use
Yeah, socialist,
to separate you.
Socialist, tanky, commie. It's all the same. It's all the same.
From them, right? This is a wedge issue that they used to fight on.
Banger episode of the Fear and Podcast. Oh yeah, that's right. The Fear and Podcast came out.
Yeah, like even what somebody just said, Rat's changing ship is so revealing about how he sees it. Yeah, exactly.
Loved Israel so much he lost one of his coolest friends and blew up a successful podcast. Don't even get me started.
Jesus Christ.
That I can't let it go with Hassan. I've honestly barely talked about him ever since the Charlie Kirk thing
You
happened.
can talk about him as much as you want.
No, I know, but I'm just saying I've kind of made the conscious decision to lay off a little bit because things got so fucking heated.
Yeah. It's just like
if you go to
you talk about everything.
If you go to his TikTok reshares,
oh god,
hundreds of the most insane Ethan psychotic conspiracy hate videos, non-stop. I would be fucking humiliated to have that be on my reshares. To be like, I would actually be afraid of looking like obsessed. But this man, he talks about me on a daily basis.
I love being obsessed. I have an obsessive personality, so, you know, I don't mind being obsessed.
He says I'm trying to get him killed. He's doing all this types of shit. He's on Twitter. He's sharing shit on TikTok. This whole narrative of me being some one-sided obsession is crazy.
Meanwhile, he's the one bringing me up as a valid military target.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
Hundreds? Is it really that many? Reposts.
Politics is about the distribution of resources and power.
Politics.
Violence. Who gets to do it? Who is the recipient of it? Structural violence, direct violence, state violence, and the like. And democracy is
I mean, technically speaking, the state has a monopoly on violence, so
extracting.
It's not really, technically speaking, there's not really a question of who gets to do violence. The answer is the state gets to do violence. Because the state has the monopoly on violence.
Concessions from your elected representatives.
Jesus, that was so insightful.
Jeffrey fucking Epstein! No! How the fuck? You are so fucking stupid. I'm stupid. Ah! Dumbass. Release the files! No! He looks so healthy! You look like a Fallout ghoul, man.
Post this everywhere. Don't let them forget.
Oh, okay. I didn't say no. Oh my.
Oh, it's about. Why did Ethan post this?
My God.
Oh, it's a meme. I'm guessing they replaced the video.
Oh my God. I did not say you could get off the bed. That's crazy.
Okay. I'm good. What's he talking about right now? Destiny or Israel? Or something not related to either.
The craziest part is these are incredibly well-read individuals, okay? These are incredibly
Supreme Court stuff. Oh my God.
Individuals. They're brilliant individuals, okay? They write a lot.
Destiny is a little bit obsessive. I will admit.
They read a lot.
Just like me.
But when you have horse blinders on, when you have lost the capacity to dream, when you have lost the capacity to look at everything that you have defended your entire life as maybe being wrong, you will stunt your growth. Your intellectual capacity is stunted, okay? The problem is these guys actually do have room for growth, but in the rightward direction, which is precisely the reason why so many liberals find themselves in the throes of reactionary politics like this, or at least find themselves aligning with reactionary politics like this, because there is a limit. There is a limit to how far left they can go. They will never go beyond abolishing or even reconstructing capitalism. They will never go beyond.
Oh, nice. He's making my point, though, what I just said earlier about how, remember, they'll never view you as an ally. You can.
Wait, hold on. How do you go beyond abolishing capitalism? I'm starting to connect the dots.
Never be apologetic enough or have a position that's accurate unless, I think I just said this, right? Unless you fully buy into the whole tanky ML socialist bullshit.
To explain to younger people, and I don't mean like, you know, fucking 12-year-olds or whatever. I mean just like well-read individuals who haven't already calcified in their worldview after getting so much social conditioning to imagine a world outside of capitalism as like anything but death and fucking destruction and chaos. Okay? Please talk to 36,000 viewers.
Watching your hobby, Bobby. I'm watching an Ethan Klein apology video. Also, hello, Estelle.
About the flotilla being attacked. There were 40,000 people watching half an hour ago. There have been 8 explosions now and 7 boats hit.
Oh no. Israel, Palestine! Oh no, is even Hassan getting tired of talking about it?
Why are you pocket watching? Why are you view count watching?
No, it was the view count diss. Oh.
I said I'm going to get to it when there is more information. Okay? Wow. I would just say that I find it very hard to believe, especially with Samuel Alito and Clarence Thomas, who seem to me to be kind of out and out partisan Trump supporters. This is completely fair to question. Alito's an extremely...
Welcome to the stream before I go to Ukraine. It is now 2 a.m. and I have a bus to Ukraine in 4 hours, 45 minutes. So I think I will end stream in an hour or something, or max hour and a half, pack and go to be there on time. The bus will be, my bus is at 6:45 or something. That's my bus. Hold on, I'll check just in case. And then I'll sleep on the bus, yes. If it's not always that easy to sleep on the bus, let me tell you. It's not always that easy to sleep on those buses. Where's my ticket? Where did my ticket go? Jesus. Right. Yes. 6:45. I even know which platform it leaves from. Whoa, perfect station. Yeah, I will try to sleep on the bus. That is definitely something that I will attempt to do.
Careful.
What's going on with the escalator? What do you think?
Yeah, they sabotaged them.
Yeah.
And they could have hurt...
Wait, we still have an hour of stream. What do you mean, see you later? We still have at least an hour. We have 50 minutes of stream left. Don't leave me, okay? Don't go, please. Please help me to become a small streamer rather than a micro streamer. It's not over yet. I'll be on for a bit longer.
First lady.
Yeah.
Trump
you.
would have fallen and it would have gotten back up. But, you know...
They would have blamed it on his rhetoric.
You think Trump is more likely to survive a fall than Melania? What?
And then they sabotaged the teleprompter.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an insurrection. And what
insurrection against what or who?
We need to do is either leave the UN.
Is this a joke? No, that was a joke, right? That was was that a joke? Was he wait, is he kidding when he says that? That has got to be a joke, right?
Or we need to bomb it.
Okay.
It is in New York, though, right?
Yeah, it
could be
is.
some fallout there.
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
Worry.
Book about Charlie Kirk's killing didn't come out before shooting. This was a huge conspiracy meme the day of. The shooting of Charlie Kirk appeared to be yet another case of low-quality AI-generated content. A book describing the fatal shooting of conservative commentator Charlie Kirk, which took place on September 10th, 2025, was published a day earlier on September 9th, 2025. The book initially appeared with a publication date of September 9th, which Amazon later attributed to a technical error, saying the book was actually published late in the day on September 10th, the day of the shooting. The earliest securely dated archive versions of the listing we found had a date of September 11th. This was fucking retarded. The fuck is this?
50 million people multiply. Tell the Democrats the revolution's televised. Charlie Kirk in a red hat, mega on his head. That red ain't from politics, it's from the blood that he bled. From a red wave to a red sea. You push the word of God, they push the vaccine. You push people to...
Oh my god. We've pushed the word of God, they pushed the vaccines. Ah, God. That is the MAGA movement in a nutshell, isn't it?
They just pushing degrees. You push the USA, they push the LGBT. Damn.
We push the USA, they push the LGBT. Brilliant. Brilliant. That is so smart. These lyrics are so deep and smart.
MLK had a dream. Charlie Kirk had a moon. Now they both with the king. Hallelujah, Charlie Kirk.
He released a rap about lynching, by the way. Oh, that's brilliant.
Say this part right here, Charlie. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Charlie. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Charlie.
This is embarrassing. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Charlie. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Charlie. I am Charlie Kirk. I am Charlie Kirk. Charlie. Okay. This is so embarrassing. I don't even. What am I supposed to do with this? Come on. This is really embarrassing.
I am Charlie Kirk. 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 I am Charlie Kirk.
You guys better rap like this for me, okay? Thune, rage quits Fox News after audio issues. Wait, what?
Senator, jump on in here. We just played sound of President Trump. I moved from immigration to President Trump calling out those who recognize the Palestinian state. Your reaction to his remarks on that this morning?
All right, we're done.
Okay. All right. We tried again. John, I think we're...
Bro, that dude's not having a good day.
Okay. All right. We tried again.
He's holding it in. He's mad as fuck.
At this morning.
We're done.
All right, we're done.
Okay. All right. We tried again. John, I think we're going to leave it there. We don't want to put the senator back into a compromising position there. But hey, we are...
Trump cures cancer. Curing cancer is racist. We have the right to die from cancer. We want our cancer back from Tectone. This guy's fucking retarded. Why would you post this at a time when they're literally cutting like funding for cancer research? They're literally cutting, or they're cutting funding for all school research, all scientific research. They're fighting with the entire medical community right now over their retarded shit they're saying. Like this is just, it's like such a fucking stupid thing to tweet. Oh my God.
That is true. That is true. All right, let's go.
So as you all know, Charlie Kirk was killed the other day, and in the wake of that, you had all these big-name right-wing figures like Elon Musk and, libs of TikTok and many right-wing politicians and right-wing pundits, and they all came out, and in unison, they were screaming fucking revenge, retribution, civil war, violence. And so, guess what? After they said that, you had, it was like 5 different HBCUs, I think it was, got bomb threats and death threats. And so they had to cancel classes. You also had the DNC got bomb threats and death threats. They had to shut that down. The Senate was warned about what was happening over at the DNC. You had all these different things happening. But then something else happened, which should be beyond disturbing to everybody out there. There are 2 different black men who wound up hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Now, they were in different places, but 2 different black men on the same day were found hanged. in Mississippi. So this one is from NBC. They say, body of a black student is found hanging from a tree in Mississippi. Police at Delta State University said no evidence of foul play was found in the death of DeMartravion Trey Reed, but investigation is ongoing. So here's the thing. The sheriff's office originally told the family he was found dead in his dorm room. Then they found out, actually, no, he was hanging from a tree. You have...
oh, I guess no foul play then. It's just conflicting reports.
You know, the coroner saying, oh, no, there was no evidence of foul play. There's no bruises. There's no lacerations. There's no anything. But you have other people who say, the fuck there weren't. Yes, there were. Again,
okay.
Charlie Kirk gets shot. All the big right-wing figures are literally out there calling for blood of the left, revenge, retribution. All these violent threats against HBCUs, right? All these violent threats against the DNC. And now, 2 black men in Mississippi found hanged. 2 separate black men found hanged. Now it's going to get darker. Are you ready? So it's already dark. It's already dark. Because what's the history? The history is obvious. There's a history of lynching in the Deep South. Lynching. White mobs lynching innocent black people, right?
Yeah.
This is a song. Now, I can't play much of it because it's probably going to get knocked on copyright if I do, right? So I'm going to speed it up a little bit, and I'm only going to play you like maybe 10 seconds of it. But what happened here is the well-known MAGA rapper, Forgiato Blow, he decided to release a song. This just happened. He just fucking released this not that long ago, 3 days ago. He released a song that is literally step-by-step about how to lynch. And then 2 black guys get lynched.
Oh, we need a big tall tree and a short piece of rope. Hang 'em up high at sundown. Leave 'em swinging so the folks all know you don't mess around in our town.
If you want to hear it again, you can go back.
Jesus Christ.
And listen to it. I hope we don't get knocked on copyright for that. But
what a song.
Literally a song about how to lynch. DeMartravion Trey Reed was lynched and cops say no foul play. A black man hanging in 2025 isn't an accident. Days after white men marched to fight back for Charlie Kirk. Black folks are hunted again. America is rotting. Don't let them gaslight us. The lack of interest in this story. The family is saying we demand an independent investigation. You know, we demand our own autopsy. We're not going to take the word of the officials. We're not going to do it. We're not going to do it. And I think that's exactly right. Look, let's be honest. The MO usually of young black men is not to fucking hang themselves, right? And hanging in the Deep South, in Mississippi, immediately after Charlie Kirk gets killed and everybody on the right is calling for revenge and retribution and HBCUs are getting threatened and the DNC is getting threatened. 2 black men wound up hanged. And everybody, nothing to see here, no big deal. And every article about it, oh, they say there's no evidence of foul play and there's nothing to see here and there's, no bruises, no this, no that. Don't worry about it. I don't know, man. Something smells fishy. Something smells fishy. And there's a rising tide in this country of fascism, and everybody knows it. Anybody who pretends not to know it is full of shit, or they're the dumbest person on the planet. And this is what we're dealing with now. So, very, very disturbing. Very, very disturbing. And I'll keep my eye on it. But look, we might never get the truth.
I mean, it is. I have to agree with Estelle a bit. It is a little bit conspiracy posting.
That's the thing, right? Is like, all these things that are happening, we might never know who actually killed Charlie Kirk. I don't trust the official story. I don't trust the fucking FBI. Fucking Kash Patel and Dan Bongino, 2 idiot podcasters, are running it. All they care about is getting social media praise from the MAGA blob. I don't trust them, and I don't trust the authorities in this instance. All I'll say is Occam's
That chatter is long gone.
razor points in one direction and is not the one that they're telling us to believe. Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well.
The song was crazy, but that was a little bit of conspiracy posting, I will say that. Just a little bit. Siobhan had a revisionist Charlie Kirk history. That is true. Yeah, there is just, we don't have enough information to just, correlation does not equal causation. Again. Just like with the vaccine thing. Just because 2 people were found hanged after the Charlie Kirk killing, that does not follow that it's connected. It's, yeah. I will give Estelle agree. I will agree that this is conspiracy posting, yeah. If you're to be diligent about this, you have to be diligent about this. You cannot just jump to conclusions. Yeah, props. Exactly. Props to Estelle. We have to be consistent and diligent about these sort of things. Not to jump to conclusions. Oh, it had to be because of this. Well, you know. Something smells fishy is not enough for me as an argument. There you go. I'm doing my due diligence, or I'm trying. All right. Let's do a few topics. How do you feel about a few topics? Political topics. Does that sound good? Does that sound good to you? Should we do some politics to round this stream up? I think this will explain a lot. Trigger warning. Oh, what is this? I hope this is good, okay? I hope this is a legit video, not some troll. Vladimir, I trust you.
What is it about the Negro? I mean, every other group that came as an immigrant somehow, not easily, but somehow got around it. Is it just the fact that Negroes are black?
White America must see that no other ethnic group has been a slave on American soil. That is one thing that other immigrant groups haven't had to face. The other thing is that the color became a stigma. American society made the Negro's color a stigma. America freed the slaves in 1863 through the Emancipation Proclamation of Abraham Lincoln, but gave the slaves no land or nothing in reality, and as a matter of fact, to get started on.
That's true. That is, and I believe that was deliberate. I don't think I'm being conspiratorial when I say that that was a deliberate move.
At the same time, America was giving away millions of acres of land in the West and the Midwest, which meant that there was a willingness to give the white peasants from Europe an economic base. And yet it refused to give its black peasants from Africa, who came here involuntarily in chains and had worked free for 244 years, any kind of economic base. And so emancipation for the Negro was really freedom to hunger. It was freedom to the winds and rains of heaven. It was freedom without food to eat or land to cultivate, and therefore it was freedom and famine at the same time. And when white Americans tell the Negro to lift himself by his own bootstraps, they don't look over the legacy of slavery and segregation. I believe we ought to do all we can and seek to lift ourselves by our own bootstraps, but it's a cruel jest to say to a bootless man that he ought to lift himself by his own bootstraps. And many Negroes, by the thousands and millions, have been left bootless as a result of all of these years of oppression and as a result of a society that deliberately made his color a stigma and something worthless and degrading.
That is true. That is... You know what? Maybe I will follow this streamer's example and I will try to cover as much of the speech as I can. Trump speaks at UN General Assembly, especially since he said some hurtful words. There you go, full speech. We might have to watch it on a speed up because I don't have much time, but you know.
This is an ABC News special report.
Good morning, I'm
You in this room, more weakness, lawless, shattered the peace, distinguished delegate. Much teleprompter is in big trouble.
Is mounting on Israel as some of America's closest allies, including France, Britain, Canada, and
not
Australia, are recognizing
The teleprompter has been sabotaged. Poor Trump.
the state of Palestine.
I feel very happy to be up here with you, nevertheless, and that way you speak more from the heart. I can only say that whoever's operating this teleprompter is in big trouble.
All right.
Hello, Madam First Lady.
This is going to be a mess, isn't it? Without the teleprompter, Trump will have to improvise. So this is going to be, this is going to be good.
Thank you very much for being here. And Madam President, Mr. Secretary General, First Lady of the United States, distinguished delegates, ambassadors, and world leaders. 6 years have passed since I last stood in this grand hall and addressed a world that was prosperous and at peace in my first term.
Oh yeah, the world was at peace. No, nothing happening in the Donbass, right? Nothing happening at all. And nothing happening in the world in general at all. The world was at peace when Trump was in his first term. Absolutely. Nothing was happening anywhere in the world.
Since that day, the guns of war have shattered the peace I forged on 2 continents.
Yeah, of course.
An era of calm and stability gave way to one of the great crises of our time. And here the
I don't think we have to delve into this too much. It's bullshit. Trump did not leave the world a peaceful and stable place. And it wasn't like Trump left it all great and it all crumbled because he left. Okay? That's just complete nonsense. I don't think anybody, at least in this audience, will dispute it.
United States, 4 years of weakness, lawlessness, and radicalism under the last administration delivered our nation into a repeated set of disasters. 1 year ago, our country was in deep trouble, but today, just 8 months into my administration, we are the hottest country anywhere in the world.
The hottest country anywhere in the world, but not for all the good reasons, I would say.
And there is no other country even close. America is blessed with the strongest economy, the strongest borders, the strongest military, the strongest friendships, and the strongest spirit of
the strongest friendships. Vladimir Putin. What are America's friends at this point? Who are America's strong friends at this point? What are those strong friendships that he is alluding to?
Of any nation on the face of the earth. This is indeed the golden age of America.
Oh boy. If this is the golden age, I don't even want to know what the dark age is.
We are rapidly reversing the economic calamity we inherited from the previous administration, including ruinous price increases and record-setting inflation.
Of course.
Inflation like we've never had before.
Like we've never had before. Whenever Trump talks about anything, it's always like nothing before.
Under my leadership, energy costs are down, gasoline prices are down, grocery prices are down, mortgage rates are down, and inflation has been defeated.
Inflation has been defeated.
The only thing that's up is the stock market, which just hit a record high. In fact, it hit a record high 48 times in the last short period of time.
Uh-oh. I wonder why.
Growth is surging, manufacturing is booming. The stock market, as I said, is doing better than it's ever done. And all of you in this room benefit by that. Almost everybody.
Almost everybody.
And importantly, workers' wages are rising at the fastest pace in
the history of the country.
In 60 years. And that's what it's all about, isn't it? In 4 years of President Biden, we had less than $1 trillion of new investment into the United States. In just 8 months since I took office, we have secured commitments and money already paid.
I don't really want to fact check every single economy thing that he's saying.
For 17
I don't trust anything that Trump says about any number or any fact. That is a sad state of affairs.
$1 trillion. Think of it, 4 years, less than $1 trillion, 8 months, much more than $17 trillion is being invested in the United States, and it's now pouring in from all parts of the world. We've implemented the largest tax cuts in American history and the largest
For the rich.
regulation cuts in American history, making this once and again the best country on earth to do business. And many of the people in this room
For the rich.
are investing in America, and it's turned out to be an awfully good investment during this 8-month period. In my
For the rich.
first term, I built the greatest economy in the history of the world. We had the best
Of course.
economy ever, history of the world.
Ever. Yeah,
And I'm
ever. Of course.
doing the same thing again, but this time it's actually much bigger and even better. The numbers far surpass my record-setting first term. On our southern border, we have successfully repelled a colossal invasion, and for the
A colossal invasion. What a pathetic thing to say. We have repelled an invasion.
last 4
The
months,
southern border.
and that's 4 months in a row, the number of illegal aliens admitted and entering our country
Illegal aliens. Yeah, I trust Trump economics description just as much as I, this whole thing about illegal aliens and invasions.
has been zero. Hard to believe, because if you look back just a year ago, it was millions and millions of people pouring in from all over the world, from prisons, from mental institutions.
And they all seek the transition, sex change operations.
Drug dealers, all over the world they came.
Yeah,
They
of
just poured
course.
into our country with the ridiculous open
Millions and millions of criminal drug addicts and drug cartel dealers.
border policy of the Biden administration. Our message is very simple. If you come illegally into the United States, you're going to jail or you're going back to where you came from.
Also, if you're a naturalized citizen and many other things, you will also go to jail then, and you will be put in some foreign land prison.
Or perhaps even further.
Or
than
maybe
that.
if you're just a citizen, who knows? The sky's the limit.
You know what that means. I want to thank the country of El Salvador for the successful and professional job they've
There you
done
go.
in receiving and jailing so many criminals that entered our country.
And citizens.
And it was under the previous administration that the number became record-setting, and they're all being taken out. We have no choice. And other countries have no choice because other countries are in the exact same situation with immigration.
So every country in the world is in a situation where criminals, drug dealers, and murderers are poured from all over the world. Every single country is in this situation. Yeah, that's totally not a nonsensical statement, is it?
It's destroying your country, and you have to do something about it. On the world stage, America is respected again like
That is such a nonsensical statement.
it has never been respected before. You think about 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, or 1 year ago, we were a laughingstock all over the world. At the NATO
As opposed to now, huh?
summit in June, virtually all NATO members formally committed to increase defense spending at my request from 2% to 5% of GDP, making our alliance far stronger and more powerful than it was ever before.
Yeah, it is meaningless if the production of armament is not streamlined across Europe. The increase in the GDP expenditure will not translate to benefits if Europe will not streamline the process of production.
In May, I traveled to the Middle East to visit my friends and rebuild our partnerships in the Gulf and those valued relationships with Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE and other countries are now, I believe, closer than ever before. My administration has negotiated one historic trade deal after another, including with the United Kingdom, the European Union, Japan, South Korea, Vietnam.
Yeah, historical trade deals. Or rather, the disastrous tariff mess.
Indonesia, the Philippines, Malaysia, and many, many others.
Mm-hmm.
Likewise, in a period of just 7 months, I have ended 7 unendable wars. They said they were
That's not true. Also, unendable wars. There's no such thing as an unendable war.
unendable. You're never going to get them solved. Some were going for 31 years, 2 of them, 31, think of it, 31 years. One was 36 years. One was 28 years. I ended 7 wars.
No, he didn't.
And in all cases, they were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. This includes Cambodia and Thailand, Kosovo and Serbia, the Congo and Rwanda, a vicious, violent war that was, Pakistan and India, Israel and Iran.
Some of them are not even resolved. There were a ceasefire, and the ceasefire was breached, but whatever.
Egypt and
He did not end 7 wars.
Ethiopia and Armenia and Azerbaijan. It included all of them. No president or prime minister, and for that matter, no other country has ever done anything close to that. And I did it in just 7 months. It's never happened before. There's never been
Of course, never happened in the history of the world.
anything like that. I'm very honored to have done it. It's too bad that I had to do these things instead of the United Nations doing them. And sadly, in all cases, the United Nations did not even try to help in any of them.
Mm-hmm.
I ended 7 wars, dealt with the leaders of each and
No, you have not ended 7 wars.
every one of these countries.
I wonder if there are any fact-checking pages. Fact check. Has Trump ended 7 wars? Oh, CNN checking in on the 7 unendable wars Trump did not end. Oh wow, okay. Checking in on the 7 unendable wars Trump did not end. What a... Okay, that looks promising. What's he yapping about? Congo, Rwanda is still hot and going. I know. There was a ceasefire and that ceasefire was breached. I know. Are we sure he's not getting mixed up with the 7 dwarfs? Probably. He watched Snow White and he got a little excited. US President Donald Trump all but nominated himself for the Nobel Peace Prize on Tuesday, claiming in his address to the United Nations that he has ended 7 unendable wars, which were raging with countless thousands of people being killed. I ended 7 wars. We already heard that. I don't have to do the impression. The 2 conflicts that Trump has so far put the most efforts into ending, Israel's war in Gaza and Russia's war in Ukraine, continue to rage with no signs of easing, despite the myriads of deadlines, threats, and promises he has made to get ceasefire agreements. But the failure to get a deal in the Middle East and Ukraine has not stopped Trump from boasting about the conflicts he said he ended. Trump has repeated this claim since earlier this summer, and the White House provided a list of the 7 claimed bilateral agreements last month. While he certainly contributed to brokering a couple of agreements between long-standing foes, his role in securing ceasefires and some of the other conflicts he has boasted about ending has been disputed by some of the countries involved, which is interesting, right? Oh, I brokered a deal here. No, he hasn't. We just had nothing to do with our ceasefire. And then, of course, there are the wars that were not happening when he claims to have ended them. Armenia and Azerbaijan. Trump certainly deserves credit for hosting the leaders of Armenia and Azerbaijan at the White House in August, where they finalized a peace agreement which they first announced some 5 months earlier. The 2 former Soviet republics had been locked in a conflict over Nagorno-Karabakh for almost 4 decades. The breakaway region in the Caucasus Mountains was home to around 120,000 ethnic Armenians, and while it is internationally considered as part of Azerbaijan, it was controlled by Armenian separatists since the fall of the Soviet Union. That's changed in 2023 when a lightning 24-hour assault saw Azerbaijan regain control of Nagorno-Karabakh Karabakh, prompting the region's ethnic Armenian population to flee to Armenia within a week. Armenia's Prime Minister Nikol Pashinyan and Azerbaijan's President Ilham Aliyev both praised Trump for his role in getting the deal signed, even if he later, while talking about it, confused Armenia for Albania and called Azerbaijan Azerbaijan. Yeah, international affairs expert. While undoubtedly a step forward, the agreement has not been ratified by either country. Several issues remain to be resolved. Most notably, Azerbaijan is demanding that Armenia changes its constitution, a move that would likely be rejected by Armenian voters in a referendum. Cambodia and Thailand. The 508-mile border between Thailand and Cambodia has been prone to flare-ups of violence for decades. Cambodia has previously sought a ruling from the UN's International Court of Justice over the disputed areas, but Thailand said it does not recognize the court's jurisdiction and claims that some areas along the border were never fully demarcated. The most recent round of violence erupted in July when at least 38 people, mostly civilians, were killed and hundreds of thousands were forced to flee their homes. Trump held separate phone calls with the leaders of the two countries, threatening to stop trade negotiations if they didn't agree to a ceasefire. The two sides met in Malaysia within days and agreed to a ceasefire. However, the conflict over the contested border remains unresolved. So he did not end this war. This situation could just flare up again at any moment. Even though Cambodia's Prime Minister Hun Manet said that he nominated the US President for the Nobel Peace Prize. That is so sad. That is so depressing. Israel and Iran. Okay, we don't have to, this has been covered, we don't have to talk, we don't have to read about the context of the conflict. Two countries did later endorse the ceasefire. While Trump made it clear he was initially against Israel attacking Iran, directly the US joined and bombed Iran's main nuclear facilities. Like with many other conflicts he claims to have ended, Trump's role in bringing the violence to an end is unclear. No peace agreement or a firm deal on the future of Iran's nuclear program has been reached, and both Iran and Israel have threatened each other since then. India and Pakistan. India and Pakistan got embroiled in their most intense conflict in decades in May, after India fired missiles across 9 sites in Pakistan in response to a massacre of tourists in Indian-administered Kashmir, which India blamed on Pakistan. The conflict was raging for several days when, out of the blue, Trump announced on social media that the US had brokered an end to the fighting. There are conflicting accounts on how the ceasefire was negotiated. Islamabad praised the US involvement and nominated Trump for the Nobel Peace Prize, while it said was for what it said was decisive diplomatic intervention. India downplayed Trump's involvement, saying instead the ceasefire was agreed directly between the two countries. India has fiercely resisted any foreign intervention on the issue of Kashmir, the disputed region over which India and Pakistan fought several wars, insisting it's not up to other countries to get involved. Rwanda and the DRC. When the representatives of the Democratic Republic of the Congo and Rwanda signed a peace agreement brokered by the US in June, it was hailed by Trump as a great day for Africa and, quite frankly, a great day for the world. However, there is little to suggest that the conflict, one of the most protracted and complex conflicts in the world, is easing in any way. Scores of militia groups have fought for 3 decades, are still engaging in deadly fighting. CNN visited the rebel-held city of Goma, home to more than 2 million people, earlier this month. Local people, aid workers, and rebel leaders told CNN the fighting and the hardships caused by it continue. The same week, the United Nations Human Rights Office released a fact-finding report on the escalation of hostilities between January and July 2025 in North and South Kivu, the provinces in eastern DR Congos, where the 2 of its largest cities, Goma and Bukavu, are located. Okay, there we go. Trump has not ended 7 wars. I think I made my point.
And never even received a phone call from the United Nations offering to help in finalizing the deal. All I got from the United Nations was an escalator that on the way up stopped right in the middle. If the First Lady wasn't in great shape, she would have fallen. But she's in great shape. We're both in good shape. We both stood. And then a teleprompter that didn't work. These are the 2 things I got from the United Nations, a bad escalator and a bad teleprompter.
It's an insurrection.
Thank you very much. And by the way, it's working now. Just went on. Thank you. I think I should just do it the other way. It's easier. Thank you very much. I didn't think of it at the time because I was too busy working to save millions of lives. That is the saving and stopping of these wars. But
yeah,
later,
that he didn't stop.
I realized that the United Nations wasn't there for us. They weren't there. I thought of it really after the fact, not during these negotiations, which were not easy. That being the case, what is the purpose of the United Nations? The UN has such tremendous potential. I've always said it. It has such tremendous, tremendous potential.
I mean, what is the purpose of Trump? He only lies about any of his accomplishments. He did not end the 7 wars. What is the purpose of Trump?
But it's not even coming close to living up to that potential. For the most part, at least for now, all they seem to do is write a really strongly worded letter and then never follow that letter up. It's empty words, and empty words don't solve war.
Projection. Oh my God, if projection was manifest, it would take the shape of Trump. Empty words, empty threats, angry words. Wow. That sounds like Trump's policy on Ukraine, doesn't it?
The only thing that solves war and wars is action.
Oh, like the action that Trump takes in regards to Ukraine? That sort of action?
Now, after ending all of these wars and also earlier negotiating the Abraham Accords, which is a very big thing for which our country received no credit, never receives credit. Everyone says that I should get the Nobel Peace Prize for each one.
Everyone says
of these achievements. But for me, the real prize will be the sons and daughters who live to grow up with the mothers and fathers, because millions of people are no longer being killed.
Yeah, of course.
Endless and unglorious wars. What I care about is not winning prizes, it's saving lives. We saved millions and millions of lives.
Yeah, saved so many lives with those conflicts that he did not actually end. So many lives saved.
With the 7 wars. And we have others that we're working on, and you know that.
Like Ukraine?
Many years ago, a very successful real estate developer in New York, known as Donald J. Trump, I bid on the renovation and rebuilding of this very United Nations complex. I remember it so well. I said at the time that I would do it for $500 million, rebuilding everything. It would be beautiful. I used to talk about, I'm going to give you marble floors. They're going to give you terrazzo. I'm going to give you the best of everything. You're going to have mahogany walls. They're going to give you plastic. But they decided to go in another direction, which was much more expensive at the time, and which actually produced a far inferior product.
Of course. Why is he talking about this?
And I realized that they did not know what they were doing when it came to construction, and that their building concepts were so wrong, and the product that they were proposing to build was so bad and so costly.
They didn't choose me when it came to the renovation of the building, and now I hate them, those jerks. What is this? What the hell? Why do I have to hear about his whining from the days when he was a developer?
It was going to cost them a fortune. And I said, and wait till you see the overruns. Well, I turned out to be right. They had massive cost overruns and spent between $2 and $4 billion on the building and did not even get the marble floors that I promised them.
Oh my God, yeah, it is him whining about his time as a developer, isn't it? What does that have to do with it? Why is he wasting his speech on stuff like that? I have no...
You walk on terrazzo, do you notice that?
Well,
as far as I'm concerned, frankly, looking at the building and getting stuck on the escalator, they still haven't finished the job. They still haven't finished. That was years ago. The project was so corrupt that Congress actually asked me to testify before them on the tremendous waste of money, because it turned out that they had no idea what it was, but they knew it was anywhere between $2 and $4 billion as opposed to $500 million with a guarantee. But they had no idea, and I said it cost much more than $5 billion. Unfortunately, many things in the United Nations are happening just like that, but on an even much bigger scale, much, much bigger. Very sad to see.
Yeah, they never ended the 7 wars like Trump did.
Whether the UN can manage to play a productive role, I've come here today to offer the hand of American leadership and friendship to any nation in this assembly that is willing to join us in forging a safer,
oh boy,
more prosperous world.
Yeah, we can see that. Trump, by threatening allies with invasion, by catering to violent dictators, giving them the red carpet treatment, that is, yeah, safer and more stable world, huh?
And it's a world that we'll be much happier with. A dramatically better future is within our reach. But to get there, we must reject the failed approaches of the past and work together to confront some of the greatest threats in history. There is no more serious danger to our planet today
than wokeness,
than the most powerful and destructive weapons ever devised by man, of which the United States, as you know, has many. Just as I did in my first term, I've made containing these threats a top priority, starting with the nation of Iran. My position,
starting with the country that did not have those weapons to begin with. Brilliant.
Is very simple. The world's #1 sponsor of terror can never be allowed to possess the most dangerous weapon.
Even though the topic was on enrichment of whatever.
That's why shortly after taking office, I sent the so-called Supreme Leader a letter making a generous offer. I extended a pledge of full cooperation in exchange for a suspension of Iran's nuclear program.
No, that was not. No, he did not just. Well, yes, but it was not it was not about the suspension of Iran's nuclear program as a nuclear weapons program. No, it was about the suspension of the uranium enrichment. So any sort of nuclear program, even regarding energy.
The regime's answer was to continue their constant threats to their neighbors and U.S. interests throughout the region. And some great.
That was the disagreement. That Iran said that it had the right to enrich uranium in order to be able to produce energy.
Countries that are right nearby. Today, many of Iran's former military commanders, in fact, I can say almost all of them, are no longer with us. They're dead. And 3 months ago, in Operation Midnight Hammer, 7 American B-2 bombers dropped the 14 30,000-pound each bombs on Iran's key nuclear facilities, totally obliterating everything. No other country on earth could have done what we did. No other country has the equipment to do what we did. We have the greatest weapons on earth. We hate to use them. But we did something that for 22 years people wanted to do. With Iran's nuclear enrichment capacity demolished, I immediately brokered an end to the 12-day war, as it's called, between Israel and Iran.
Israel and Iran are still threatening each other, and Iran's nuclear program is far from over. So what have you accomplished exactly?
With both sides agreeing to fight no longer. As everyone knows, I have also been deeply engaged in seeking a ceasefire in Gaza. Have to get that done. Have to get it done. Unfortunately, Hamas has repeatedly rejected reasonable offers to make peace. We can't forget October 7th, can we? Now, as if to encourage continued conflict, some of this body is seeking to unilaterally recognize a Palestinian state. The rewards would be too great for Hamas terrorists for their atrocities. This would be
Ah, yes. Trump really hates the idea of recognizing Palestine as a state, doesn't he?
a reward for these horrible atrocities, including October 7th, even while they refuse to release the hostages or accept a ceasefire. Instead of giving to Hamas and giving so much, because they've taken so much, they have taken so much. This could have been solved so long ago.
What? As always, he retreats to rambling.
But instead of giving in to Hamas's ransom demands, those who want peace should be united with one message: release the hostages now. Just release the hostages now. Thank you. Thank you. As we have got to come together, and we will come together, got to get it done. We have to stop the war in Gaza immediately. We have to stop it. We have to get it done. We have to
Now I want to hear about Ukraine.
negotiate. Immediately have to negotiate peace. We got to get the hostages back. We want all 20 back. We don't want 2 and 4. As you know, I got, along with Steve Witkoff and others that helped us, Marco Rubio, we got most of them back. We were involved in all of them. But I always said the last 20 are going to be the hardest, and that's exactly what happened. We have to get them back now. We don't want to get back 2, and then another 2, and then 1, and then 3. Have this process. No, we want them all back, and we want the actually 38 dead bodies back too. Those parents came to me, and they want them back, and they want them back very quickly and very badly, as though they were alive. They want them. They want them every bit as much as if their son or daughter were alive. I've also been working relentlessly, stopping the killing in Ukraine.
There we go. We're gonna hear about Ukraine, and then I'm gonna.
I thought that would be, of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought that would be the easiest because of my relationship with President Putin, which had always.
What do you mean of the 7 wars that I've stopped? I thought that would be the easiest. It's not even part of the list of the 7 wars. Hold on. It's not part of the list.
It's been a good one. I thought that was going to be the easiest one, but you know, in war, you never know what's going to happen.
This is very dishonest. He just said, out of the 7 wars that I stopped, I thought this would be the easiest. That implies that he stopped the war in Ukraine.
Always lots of surprises, both good and bad. Everyone thought Russia would win this war in 3 days, but it didn't work out
I did not think that.
that way. It was supposed to be just a quick little skirmish. It's not making Russia look good. It's making them look bad. No matter what happens from here on out, this was something that should have taken a matter of days, certainly less than a week. And they've been fighting for 3.5 years and killing anywhere from 5,000 to 7,000 young soldiers, mostly soldiers, on both sides, every single week, from 5,000 to 7,000 dead young people, and some in cities, much smaller numbers, where rockets are shot, where drones are dropped. This war would never have started if I were president. This was a
Yeah, of course. He's gonna say the same thing for over 1,000 times. That is complete bullshit.
war that should have never happened.
Also, Donbass was happening under your first term.
It shows you what leadership is, what bad leadership can do to a country. Look what happened to the United States, and look where we are right now in just a short period of time.
But of course, he's gonna talk about how it's Biden's war, how it never would have started because he has no answers when it comes to actually ending this conflict. He has nothing to say. He has no new breakthroughs. He has nothing to say.
The question now is how many more lives will be needlessly lost on both sides. China and India are the primary funders of the ongoing war by continuing to purchase Russian oil. But inexcusably, even NATO countries have not cut off much Russian energy and Russian energy products, which, as you know, I found out about 2 weeks ago, and I wasn't happy.
Yeah, you're really well informed on this war that 3.5 years in, you're learning who is and who isn't still purchasing energy from Russia. That is brilliant that you've learned this 2 weeks ago.
Think of it. They're funding the war against themselves. Who the hell ever heard of that one? In the event that Russia is not ready to make a deal to end the war, then the United States is fully prepared to impose a very strong round of powerful tariffs, which would stop the bloodshed, I believe, very quickly. But
I won't do it because I believe in my personal relationship with Vladimir Putin. We're good friends. So I will only gesture to some vague notion of super big tariffs, and I will never impose them. Thank you.
For those tariffs to be effective, European nations, all of you are gathered here right now, would have to join us in adopting the exact same measures.
Well, already Slovakia and Hungary are talking about really, really needing that Russian energy still.
I mean, you're much closer to this. We have an ocean in between. You're right there. And Europe has to step it up. They can't be doing what they're doing. They're buying oil and gas from Russia while they're fighting Russia. It's embarrassing to them. And it was very embarrassing to them when I found out about it, I can tell you that. They have to immediately cease all energy purchases from Russia. Otherwise, we're all wasting a lot of time. So I'm ready to discuss this. We're going to discuss it today with the European nations, all gathered here.
Already there are countries that are trying to still buy. It's Slovakia and Hungary.
I'm sure they're thrilled to hear me speak about it, but that's the way it is. I like to speak my mind and speak the truth. As we
Oh no, you don't like to speak the truth. You actually like to lie a lie.
seek to reduce the threat of dangerous weapons today, I'm also calling on every nation to join us.
Also, if you really wanted to end this conflict quick, you would have armed Ukraine to the teeth.
Ending the development of biological weapons once and for all. And biological is terrible, and nuclear is even beyond, and we include nuclear in that. We want to have a cessation of the development of nuclear weapons. We know, and I get to view it all the time. Sir, would you like to see? And I look at weapons that are so powerful that we just can't ever use them. If we ever use them, the world literally might come to an end. There would be no United Nations to be talking about. There would be no nothing. Just a few years ago, reckless experiments overseas gave us a devastating global pandemic. Yet despite that...
Reckless experiments? What is he referring to? Is he referring to the conspiracy theory about the laboratory that supposedly the virus came from?
Worldwide catastrophe. Many countries are continuing extremely risky research into bioweapons and man-made pathogens. This is unbelievably dangerous. To prevent potential disasters, I'm announcing today that my administration will lead an international effort to enforce biological weapons convention.
All right, that's it. We have heard about Ukraine. I'm gonna end stream now because I have to pack, I have to prepare, I have to be ready. So I'll see you. Thank you all for coming to this stream before Ukraine. And I will see you in, I guess, Ukraine. I mean, I will see you from Ukraine. I will not see you in Ukraine, but I'll see you from Ukraine. I'm gonna raid you to... I don't know. Jeez. Kid not kin. There you go. Maybe one day he will return the favor. Okay, see ya.